Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check, everyone. Hello. We are live again. I know it's a weird time to go live, but I thought I had a nap, and yeah. So today, what are we gonna do today? So we are going back to the next episode of Claire's Coffee and Crime Live 2, a casual true crime chat with the community. By the looks of it, she has been listening to my stream because this time the live chat is available. So I want to see how much interaction she gets in her live chat. I know my chats are really slow, but I really want to see what people say in her live chat when she is covering crime and doing a casual true crime chat with the community. So yeah, I did some research. I had a look at it, and there was some improvements. She presented some links, she presented some things on the screen, but there were still a lot of misinformation and flaws and logical fallacies, and I was like, it's again disappointing. But I guess by the sound of it, she watched my stream, because this stream that I'm covering today, she did it after my previous stream, where I covered her first live of coffee and crime. So yeah, I guess we do coffee and misinformation annihilation. Chesh, thank you for coming. People trickling in. Yes, people are trickling in. I am so happy you made it. I'm so happy you made it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So I want to establish, before we start playing Claire's live stream, casual can be a format, but it is not an exemption from accuracy. I don't know if all true crime channels are this bad, but this channel is particularly bad, let's say. Claire, I don't mind if people talk informally about crime and quote cases and give opinions. People are allowed to do that. What they're not allowed to be, like Claire, she's not allowed to be a lawyer. What she cannot reasonably do is make factual and legal claims about real defendants, real lawyers, and active court proceedings, and then retreat behind, quote, this is not a deep dive, unquote, whenever someone expects those claims to be supportable. We saw that in her last stream. She did that, or she did throughout her stream, she did that. Thank you for coming, Chesh Smitty from the live chat. Thank you for coming, Smitty. Thank you for coming, Orange. I really appreciate all of you. And it's been a while since I saw Smitty. He was there yesterday too when I was doing my live stream, but he's here, and he's here today. So I really appreciate it. It's been a while. So I'm not going to attack Claire for stumbling over names, surnames, joking with her audience, or momentarily forgetting details. I'm going to examine the recurring rhetorical patterns that she has, which are: she will claim authority when she wants the audience to trust her. She claims informality when she wants insulation from criticism, and she invokes audience approval instead of offering or answering, any objections. She substitutes common sense for law when she does not know the law. And in one part of the stream, that method, I think, produced an outright false statement about New York collision liability. So, and we will do the same that we did before, go timestamp by timestamp. Yeah, tabloidish, like TMZ type. But even TMZ, they're good with their sources sometimes, like in Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case. They got the original footage from Amber Heard, but it wasn't their fault that it was edited. They put out what they had. They should have They should have confirmed the length, but yeah, at least they try to put out shit about their claims. So we'll start up. I've skipped the intro music, and I will start straight up with the first point. And also, Chesh, we have live chat in this one, so Claire has been listening to me. So we will see how much this casual chat is with the community, how much interactive it is. And I've got closed captions on. So it says here, if I'll make it a little bit more to make it more visually appropriate for everyone. This really interested me. It says this series is a casual discussion and not meant to fully break down any case or legal proceedings involved. I do break down cases in more detail in TCLU series. None of the information is legal advice. That should be a C, Claire, but it's okay. People tend to get confused between advise and advice. Advices advices you give to someone, and legal advice when you receive it. Well, moving on. So we already have people in the live chat, so that's cool. And so we'll start. Let's get right into it, if I may say. Alrighty, let me see. Desktop. Okay, desktop volume is on. Here we go. Yeah, getting something incorrect isn't making shit up. For me, it's like an escape hatch, like Chesh said yesterday, to say, oh, it's just a casual chat. When people get affected due to crimes and people have lost their lives or are hurt, I don't know how much of a casual chat one should have. And let me tell you, since you might see my yesterday's coverage of Claire, I have good authority to say her actual coverage in a TCLU series that she's mentioning is also not good. It's also not good at all. And I might start covering those from next week. Also. Yeah. If you advise, then you're giving advice. Exactly. You're right, Chesh. So yeah, I'm not really hopeful about the TCLU series either, because I looked into one or two of her episodes, and yeah, she gets the legal system wrong and a lot of legal jargon wrong, and I don't think so she makes the effort to understand her own US legal system. I tend to do more than that sitting here in Australia, and it's very disappointing, very disappointing. And she does a lot of assumption on behalf of mind reading on behalf of the lawyers, defendants, judges, and everyone, instead of focusing on due process and the process the justice system follows. We saw that yesterday. So again, this is almost an hour long. So here we go. Aquatic Riff. And yes, she's a friend of mine, and I think you're in second coming at her the last week is ridiculous, so I'll show myself out. Aquatic, listen, you want to come here and, you want to just talk. Instead of giving me something to work with, you're just coming here and just, whatever. It's not about grammar, it's just about the due process. Aquatic, if you have any problems, if there's anything incorrect I've said, if there's any bad faith thing I've said, tell me. I'll correct it. But you guys just come in and just make these straw mans and ad hominem attacks and then just get out. And that kind of tells me that you don't know what you're talking about. And that's really sad. You can stay, dude. No one is going to attack you if you are respectful. Simple as that. just tell me what you disagree with and why, and maybe we can have a discussion. That's in my live chat, like, I try and have a conversation. That's what I try and do. But okay, whatever. Bye, I guess, if you don't want to participate. All right. Sorry, I'm going to speed it up a bit. It's a little slow for me. The playback speed is a little slow for me. Sorry, I need to speed it up a bit. You still can't hear the video? Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, I don't know why it does that. Holy shit. Okay, let's give this a try again. Thanks Chesh, for letting me know. I don't know why it's doing that. Ah, okay, I know why. It should work now. It should work now. Sorry, Chesh, sorry. Here we go.
Well, hello, and welcome back. Second episode of this crime and, well, coffee and crime chat. And just a reminder, it's a casual chat. It's very, very different from my true crime deep dives. I think you all know that. I just want you to be able to talk about cases you want to talk about. Just, informally,
You want to be my
I guess
producer,
is the
Chesh?
word I'm looking for. I might have a few documents here and there, but it's definitely not deep dive. We can do that at your request for a video on any of the cases. And, well, first, I'd like to do a sound check with my mods. So, for those of you coming in, how's it sound? Especially the level of the background music. Does it need to be lowered at all? If it's interfering
For me, it's too loud, in my opinion.
with you being able to understand what
That's
I'm
just
saying,
my preference.
it is quite relaxing, in my humble opinion. Thanks again, mocking me.
And that's what I keep saying. You're discussing crime. And that involves people, getting hurt and affected. Not in a positive way, in a negative way. And you try and have a relaxing music. I don't know. I wouldn't do that.
Media for creating it.
Her mic is solid. My mic is stupid. My mic is just makeshift. That's what it is. My mic is like okay dokes. I try and make it convenient for myself. Sorry if I'm screaming into your ears. Okay. If you want me to produce, it would be the good practice for me to shut the fuck up. Yes, Smitty from the live chat. Getting hurt in a positive way sounds exciting, right? Manya's Timu has microphone. It's not from Timu, okay? This is from Amazon. This is not from Timu. Oh, God.
All by your lonesome for me. I do appreciate it. It's very much my jam.
I don't think so. This is from Mocking Media. I've heard this music before. This is not from Mocking Media. I'm quite sure if I went back and found it, I can find the original source. I've heard this one before. It's not from. It's not produced by. Definitely not by Mocking Media. Stop lying, Claire. Stop lying and stop. Taking claim for other people's music.
Yeah. Nice strings, lovely piano. I'm flattered. Thank you. So, thanks for joining me, guys. I'm going to wait till a few people come in because there were a couple of cases that were...
Yeah, that's possible, Chesh. Maybe they found it. But she's... Okay. I don't know. They're saying that in the description, if I'm not wrong, Claire. In the last one, they had given credit for the same music to Mocking Media. Yeah, videography on and original music used at Mocking Media. Sorry, let me bring it up a bit. Here, videography and original music used at Mocking Media. They're not saying that, like, I know my music that I'm using in the background is copyright-free music from other channels. I will completely agree to that. I don't know. Rez, hi Rez. Rez from the live chat. Claire in a nutshell. Vibe check failed. Yeah.
Mentioned on Tuesday that I did do a cursory, just a look-see, so to speak. No great deep dive, but pretty much I have the facts. And boy, both cases, they're right. They were very fascinating to me legally. Like, they have the
legally. Again, the previous one she did, she got a lot of facts wrong, so I don't know what she's talking about. So she's reportedly telling her viewers that this is an informal conversation rather than one of her research deep dives. She then says she has given 2 cases only a cursory look, but pretty much has the facts. So in the live chat, you have they're all mods, and there's one member at the moment. But it's possible more people will trickle in. Chesh from the live chat. I took a look at the chat in this one before. Funny how a lot of the chatters she has are jumpers off from Aaron. Yeah. So if I go and show this transcript, and if I go and look at, and there she says it. There were a couple of cases that were mentioned on Tuesday that I did do a cursory, just to look. She said that. So she said so she's saying she took a cursory look, but pretty much has the facts. So she's trying to occupy 2 incompatible positions at once here. And so these are incompatible positions. Cursory look is preliminary. It means you have looked just for enough to identify the broad outline and determine that what requires, and you have determined what requires further checking. It does not ordinarily justify announcing that you, quote, pretty much have the facts, unquote. She did the same thing in her last stream. Excuse me. She did that again and again in her last stream too. So particularly when one is about to discuss active appeals, disputed evidence in criminal proceedings, you just can't just say pretty much I have the facts. When you started by saying that you had a cursory look at things. So on one hand, she wants the protection of saying, do not expect detail, this is casual. On the other hand, she wants the authority of saying, trust me, I basically know the facts. Oh God, Rez. No, there was another one after that. Yesterday, there was another one yesterday. We don't need to go in that way. I saw that dude is just looking to, no. He's in New Zealand apparently, so I don't know how that will work. Let's not go towards that side. So this arrangement that she has, do not expect detail, this is casual, and then expecting the authority to say, trust me, I basically know the facts. That arrangement is extremely convenient, isn't it, Claire? The confident statement gives her credibility, the casual disclaimer gives her deniability. So this is, I think so, if I'm not wrong, I called it yesterday. It was, what was it? Disclaimer laundering. That's what I had said. And if I'm not wrong, Chesh, you had said hedging the bets? If I'm not wrong, from yesterday? Someone who's responsible, their opening would have been something around, I have only reviewed the preliminary reporting, so treat everything, as I say, as provisional until we check the underlying filings. That would accurately communicate the limitations that she has around her knowledge of the cases. Instead, she is trying to lower her audience's expectations and raise their confidence in her at the same time. She's trying to treat her audience as idiots. Stop doing that. Stop lowering the potential and expectations of your audience in such a dishonest way. Don't do that. So just in like first a minute and a half, the errors and rhetorical defects that she has come in with our epistemic contradiction. A cursory look is presented as sufficient to possess the facts, and then preemptive excuse making, the casual format, is introduced before any claim is challenged, giving future inaccuracies a ready-made defense. Authority without equivalent accountability. Claire claims confidence associated with research while disclaiming the standards associated with research. Rhetorical inoculation. She tries to make later scrutiny appear unfair because she warned viewers that the program was informal. So Claire, she wants the authority of a deep dive and the liability waiver of a coffee table gossip. I came up with that when I was from yesterday. So yeah. So she's just someone sitting in a coffee shop gossiping away with a group of people. That's what she wants to do. The word casual doesn't equal stupid. No, it doesn't. But it does gives her that plausible deniability that she's looking for if she gets anything wrong. So she cannot say that one. So she should not be saying that and then claiming stupid. Okay, if she wants to claim that later, maybe. So yeah, moving on.
Those hooks I'm looking for. So I'm going to talk about those. And also, well, I apologize, everybody, because I did bring up Sarah Boone in her letters on Tuesday. And even though I knocked on wood, well, since Tuesday, if you've been following around on the socials or anything, a letter from Sarah Boone appeared. And with your grace and permission, I think I will show that and read that because it does convey the casual, easy vibe we're going through here. Most of you were with me while we we covered the live trial of Sarah Boone, while we did all the documentation before and dived into every single lawyer change and hearing and all of that. And in a more unbiased way, trying to give both sides and talking about the process in much more detail, conferring with lawyers and paralegals, anyone I could at the time, because full disclosure here, I never said I was a lawyer. I tell everybody that all the time. Not claiming to be. But do I have a passion for this? Yes. Do I love it? Yeah, it's my hobby. It's a hobby. Yeah. I'm not a professional.
Hobby that you're bad at. Okay. Sure.
I am, as stated, a woman nicknamed Bear with a mic. Oh, the pair of cat ears I've had since the start of the channel, which, well, that's another story. So,
sorry, what? Oh, yes, yeah. Chesh from the live chat. Yes, the casual vibes of the cases of dead children and murder. Yes, of course. Smitty from the live chat. I designed the cyber truck with casual safety protocols. God damn it. Resistance from the live chat. Any I see a dude just defending their friend and it's a woman whom also happens to be doing some shady shit, I always assume they're just defending to get close and fuck them. It happens so often. Okay. Yeah, Chesh, you're right. How do you have a love and passion for something that you don't even bother to learn the basic foundation of? Yes, she claims that she is very passionate about law, but she's not a lawyer, guys. Again, this whole thing about don't question me if I say dumb shit about my own legal system, American legal system, and as Chesh keeps on pointing out, for someone who's so passionate and has a hobby, demonstrates a huge lack of care for the whole philosophy of how the USA legal system works, and how it poisons all her commentary. That lack of care and that lack of, so I don't believe her when she says it's her hobby. I do not believe her. We demonstrated that yesterday. I have more conviction. I have more information than her when I am reacting to her bullshit. So yeah, I'm also not a lawyer, but how come I do much more work than this moron over here? Nincompoop. Let's call her nincompoop. So I do not believe you, Claire, when you say that you have passion for law or to try and understand court cases and crime, and it's a hobby for you, and this is the quality of content you produce. It's I do not believe you at all. All right, moving on. So she's describing her earlier coverage as comparatively unbiased. She says that she consulted lawyers and paralegals. Hold on. I don't think so she said that. Hold on. No. Let's double check. I think so. I'm going to just keep the transcript on. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she said that. Okay. I'm not, so my notes are okay.
All of that. And in a more unbiased way, trying to give both sides and talking about the process in much more detail, conferring with lawyers and paralegals, anyone I could at the time, because full disclosure here, never said I was a lawyer. I tell everybody that all the time.
So she claims that she has conferred with lawyers and paralegals, and then she repeatedly is stating that she's not a lawyer, and then she treats legal coverage as a hobby. Yeah. Hobby, covering murders and crimes is such a hobby. Yeah. It's a useful disclosure to say you're not a lawyer. As I said before, there's nothing wrong with being a non-lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Court records are public, precisely so the public can read and discuss them. But the disclaimer does not perform the analytical work for her, the actual work that needs to be put in. And then she said, I consulted lawyers and paralegals. It's not a meaningful support unless Claire identifies which propositions those people supposedly confirmed and what reasoning they supplied, or who they are. Otherwise, she's just using unnamed professionals as being used as borrowed credibility. That's all it is. Some lawyers agreed with me is not a citation. Which lawyers on which issue? Did they review the controlling authority? Did they disagree with one another? What was the actual analysis? And then she also called her own prior work unbiased. We have seen how biased she is towards people who are trying to come in with waivers or appeals after they have been sentenced. So she's not unbiased. You cannot just disprove bias by self-description or self-declaration. You have to prove it and demonstrate it and evaluate it through your source selection, framing, standards that you apply to opposing parties, and willingness to correct errors. So far, we have not seen her correct anything, but maybe it's too soon for us. We'll see. Yeah, Chesh, you're right. Being not a lawyer isn't an excuse to get basic shit wrong. No. And as we go, we'll see later in this stream, Claire openly discusses her quote-unquote favorite prosecutors and how much she enjoys watching particular lawyers perform. That's not automatically invalidating what she is saying, but it does mean her neutrality has to be demonstrated rather than just announced. So the errors she's making here are appeal to unnamed authority, lawyers and paralegals are being invoked without identifying their analysis, self-certification. Claire treats her own claim of neutrality as evidence that she is neutral. Credential borrowing, professional expertise is referenced vaguely to strengthen her credibility without allowing the audience to examine it. Disclaimer laundering, as I said before, I'm not a lawyer, is useful to disclose only if it's followed by appropriate caution. It's not an excuse for inaccurate legal claims. And we saw yesterday she did that a lot. Yeah, Chesh, you're also right. Claire is definitely non-unbiased. She thinks people she believes are guilty or she doesn't like don't deserve competent representation or due process. And then there are some people she just already declared that, that malpractice happened or someone didn't get appropriate, help. She just declares it without showing anything for it. So, Claire, stop pretending that you are unbiased. You're not. All right? Moving on. The 446 will start from here.
It's supposed to be like casual, I'm not supposed to go into documents and legal briefs and all of that, but how do you guys feel about me showing and reading the Sarah Boone letter? It's only 2 pages. I think it might be light enough for a casual chat, but I'll wait to hear what you guys think, because again, I'll remind you all in chat and everybody coming into the comments later, and all of you out there listening, either now during the live or later at your convenience, that this is community driven. A conversation here is driven by you, the people that support my channel and want to know about these cases or other cases, or just want to talk about it. It's a place for you all to bring other cases, talk about other cases, talk about things that you've seen, go back and forth, and even ask some questions, and if they're, as long as you can accept a lighter answer, like, the bare minimal, so to speak, lighter version, and not an intense deep dive, this is a forum for it. It's different from the forum I use for the uploads lately, right? But as long as you guys still want to have these chats, I'm going to continue doing them, because despite some pushback I received, by the way, I've got just under 100 responses, and there's only 2 people that had issue. And well, one person actually admitted that they didn't actually read the description nor understand the format I was putting out, and well, the other one's just doing their thing, and well, that's their right. It's not up to me to try to explain
what did she say?
Not an intense deep dive. This is the forum for it. It's different from the forum I use for the uploads lately, right? But as long as you guys still want to have these chats, I'm going to continue doing them, because despite some pushback I received, by the way, I've got just under 100 responses, and there's only 2 people that had issue. And well, one person actually admitted that they didn't actually read the description nor understand the format I was putting out, and well, the other one's just doing their thing, and well, that's their right.
Who is that, Claire?
It's not up to me to try to explain what the heck they're doing, but hey, as long as you guys are happy with it, that's why we'll continue on, because this one's...
In short, I'm not going to accept criticism. Simple as that. That's what she's saying here.
For you guys, I've missed talking to you regularly. I've missed your interactions, the way we used to be able to talk during the breaks in hearings and live trials, or even my regular true crime and legal update lives that we used to do when we talked about multiple cases at the time,
So Chesh from the live chat said, well, then why, Claire, do your community not like us joining the conversation? Yeah, I saw that she, for some reason, activated subscribers and members only comments under one of her videos, if I'm not wrong. and then her chat is coming in here attacking us and moving away as if trying to stop us from involving ourselves in what Claire is covering and giving her criticism. Yeah, that's what it is. As long as people are going to clap for her chest, she's gonna keep on doing dumb shit. You know what that is called, Claire? That's called an echo chamber. That's what it's called. So you want to go and sit in your echo chamber and you don't want to listen to criticism? Sure, no worries. Keep doing that. It's all right, I guess. I guess you can afford to spread misinformation and you know, and just make stupid claims about your own US legal system with 120k, you know, subscriber channel. That's fine. Yeah, Chesh, you will need face palm protection for this. Smitty from the live chat, if you cake enough makeup on it, should provide some percussive absorption. Ask Aaron for advice. Oh my god, Smitty. So Claire said here, so there are two things happening here. She's talking about that she wants to say in her echo chamber, and then she's talking about ad populum fallacy. That's what it is. Just because something's popular doesn't make it right, Claire. Unless you're selfish. I guess you are. Because we saw how you treated me and Chesh when we were supposedly friends, I guess. So yeah, so Claire says viewers should accept a lighter, quote-unquote, bare minimum answer in this format, you know. And then she explains that she had received nearly 100 responses. 100, I saw generic, vague responses. And only 2 people objected. One allegedly had not read the description. So that's not me. I know that because I did read her description. And the other one was merely, quote-unquote, doing their thing. She concludes that the show will continue because supporters are happy with it. Yeah. So, again, whether 98 people enjoy a stream, they're just telling us that they're just enjoying the stream. It does not tell us, Claire, whether you are accurately describing appellate procedure, represented someone's position fairly, or correctly stated the law. That's not what it tells us. This is an appeal to popularity. As I said, ad populum fallacy. A claim does not become true because the creator's existing audience approves of the format in which she delivered it. It is also an obviously selected audience. You have curated this audience. I don't know how much is the audience. I'm just looking at it. It's all moderators here. How many moderators? 1, 2, 3. 3 moderators. 3 moderators and 1 member so far in first 7 minutes of this video. No, 7 minutes of this video. And this is 57. So we have got 50 minutes left on this video. So yeah. So it's obviously very, very curated audience. These people are already following and supporting or voluntarily responding to Claire. We don't know how many viewers said nothing. Left or disagreed privately or simply did not participate. We don't know that. Notice what's happening when there are 2 people who are dissenting or were objecting. Claire does not state the strongest version of the criticism and answer it. She does not steelman their argument and then answer it. She supposedly did not read the description, and the other is dismissed just doing as their thing. That is poisoning the well. Their attentiveness or motives are attacked before the substance of their criticism is presented, and Claire does that a lot. She does that. She did that to me too. Since my last 2 streams that I've done about her content, and then Claire just creates this false choice: either accept a light answer or admit that this is the wrong forum for serious scrutiny. That's a false dichotomy. A short answer can still be accurate. A casual answer can still distinguish allegation from proof. You do not need a 2-hour documentary to avoid inventing a legal rule or put out misinformation. You can avoid doing both in a short format too. The format just controls the amount of detail. It does not change the truth conditions of the statement. To be frank, her audience is likely dumber than she is. Maybe. We just saw Aquatic Riff come in and just like screech and just leave. I was hoping we could have a conversation, but okay. So the errors and fallacies she's committing here are appeal to popularity. That is quite evident. Selection bias, feedback from an existing supportive audience is treated as representative. Poisoning the well, critics are characterized as inattentive or merely troublesome before their objections are even addressed, and they're never addressed. False dilemma. Sorry, not false dichotomy, sorry, false dilemma. Clear implies that viewers must either accept minimal scrutiny or demand an inappropriate deep dive. Substitution of satisfaction for accuracy. Whether viewers enjoy the stream replaces whether its claims were correct. Just because your supporters like an answer, that's just an evidence of audience satisfaction. That's not the evidence for that answer was right. Stupid people can sit together in an echo chamber and just say and agree with each other. Doesn't mean whatever they're talking about is correct. All right, let's go.
You need to. I have to remind. Jin is telling me to remind him that he has to toss a link in my Discord. Okay, great. And again, there is a Discord linked to this channel, and it is for members and collaborators and moderators that are in there. It's easy enough to get in there. Gifted membership, I've bought membership. Membership to my channel is 99 cents, the lowest I could possibly make it. And there are other levels, but basically
also, like, I was looking at her live chat when she was actually live. It said that there were like 700 people in her live chat, but at the moment I'm only seeing maximum like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, maximum 5 people in her live chat. So I don't know, like that those numbers are really bothering me, if I might say.
Being able to see the links to documents that I pay for and secure are in there.
Ah, yes, put information behind a paywall. It was already behind one paywall. Let's put it behind another paywall. Brilliant. Instead of directing people to go where they can go and spend money just once, she's asking them to pay her the money. Oh, okay.
Articles. There's also a lot of entertainment stuff. It's pretty varied. But you're welcome to join. Followers of Twitch and Kick also, they just have to send me their follow, and I have allowed them in there too. Or I'm building up a small audience over there. It's a whole different thing than YouTube. I've been lucky here on YouTube. I have, with the help of YouTube themselves. But all that aside, I would
how many times are you going to keep repeating that you're very lucky on YouTube, as if you're trying to convince yourself that, your followers and your live chat is like genuine or something like that? I don't know. Why are you repeating this again and again? It's as if you're trying to convince yourself of something. But okay. So paid document access is not interpretive expertise. Claire is explaining to her members that they can obtain access to documents and links that she has paid for and secured. There may not be some inherent problem with charging for membership, paying document retrieval fees, or giving supporters curated access to material. Research can cost money. Organizing records can require labor. But purchasing a document proves access to the document, as I was saying. It does not prove that the purchaser interpreted it correctly, and we saw that again and again yesterday. We saw that she kept doing it. She couldn't even read a stupid article correctly about what the issue with the witnesses were. Or was. Sorry. And in my opinion, Claire should consistently distinguish among 4 different things: a public court document, a paid document retrieval service, Claire's own summary of the document, independent legal analysis of what that document means. These 4 things are not interchangeable. Just because you have access to primary source does not establish correct interpretation, in my opinion. Phone mode, okay. Self-affirmation, self-soothing. Yeah, she's trying. I don't know why she keeps saying that again and again. She did that yesterday also. Oh, I'm very lucky, you know, with the help of YouTube. As if she's trying to convince herself or something. Weird. Very weird, but we'll keep moving on. Let's move. We've already reached the 10-minute, almost the 10-minute mark, so not bad, eh?
I think I'll bring up the letter. Because, like, again, if you just came in, I'm sorry. I knocked on wood that she hadn't been writing letters and then this appeared.
That's not what you knocked on wood yesterday. Yesterday you said that there are no appeals when there's an active appeal in the court as of this month. You got that wrong. So I don't know what do the letters prove, but we'll see what you're trying to say here with the letters that Sarah Boone has been writing.
It was like, you know, we said her name, we got interested. Well, she is in the appeal process still. That I can tell you. Her actual formal appeal went through after multiple delays. She finally, with her attorney, the one that was accepted in from her attorney that was assigned as Maldonado, and that was on April 22nd, 2026. Hey, that's close to the date. I know it was April. I do believe it was 20 seconds. And I do have links to all those documents too. And what I can give you is where you can find them if you're interested. So that I'm going to share here in the chat. Those of you that are here can check.
So she's not sharing links in the chat. Who was doing that before? Chesh and I used to do that before. I did that yesterday before this stream. So I guess she learned something. But I don't know what she's trying to, you know, I don't see anything yet, but we shall see. Let's see. Let's go.
That out. This is where documents that you may want to peruse are. If anybody has any difficulty accessing what is considered free documents on that link, you guys let me know, okay? Because I do have.
Oh my God! Did she just take my link?
Those of you that belong,
that's the link I shared yesterday, if I'm not wrong.
Or a collaborator, etc., or a moderator. You guys all know how to get a hold of me.
Hold on. That's my link that she shared from yesterday. The Sarah Boone case, if I'm not wrong. Oh my God! Okay. Hold on. We need to check something. No. We gotta check something. Hold on a minute. Oh God, this woman, this fucking woman that she shared from yesterday. The Sarah Boone. Hold on, my bad. Hold on. We need to find something. This is too good to be true. Oh my God. All right, that one. Here we go. Instances where you think I made bad faith. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Yeah, that's a better view. So let's have a look. Do I have the transcript now? Yep, there's a transcript. So if I go with, yeah, she started doing it now. Before she wasn't doing it. Hold on, it's not bringing that up like that. There we go. Did I put in any links? Hold on, my notes will be better. Hold on. My notes. Where are my notes? My notes. Sarah Boone. Yeah! It's my fucking link from yesterday. This bitch! Ah! I put this link in the live chat yesterday. No. She's such a fucking asshole. Okay, whatever. At least she's trying to get her resources. Okay, I'll give her that. But it's funny how she's now started putting in resources. Okay, whatever.
I can get you a link for that. Okay, for either the appeal or her initial brief on appeal.
She didn't refute anything, and it's like, Mane is right, but fuck her anyways, just like they do with Chesh. Chesh is right, but fuck her anyways. Yeah, she's intellectually so lazy. Fucking asshole. Oh my god. Oh my god. You know, this is so stupid. Holy shit. Oh god, this bitch. Hold on, let me see if I can find the live chat. In the live chat where I put it. Hold on. Did I put it in the live chat? It's 2:41. Hold on. I don't know if I put it in the live chat. Did I put it in the live chat? Maybe not. But that's the same link I had. And I'm sure I put it in the live chat somewhere. If I'm not wrong. I'm quite sure I did. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry, I got distracted. Give me a second. I need to really get this. Yeah, I was looking at this link in particular when I was talking about her latest order as of June. Hold on, if you look at it here, right? That's what it says here. As of June, that's what I was looking at. So okay, now she has started to put, she's learned from me, which is very good, and she started to put, you know, links in the live chat for her audience. Yeah, good job, Claire, but you have a long way to go. Sorry, you have a long way to go. You have a long, and actually, I did say yesterday, can you reach at my level, Claire? And I guess she's trying.
Or the state's response, which just happened earlier in July. I think it was the 2nd of July to be.
There's
around
nothing
the
here.
2nd of July, I believe, from what I read
If
the
there's
other
anything
day.
here.
But, hello, Native. Hello. You. Welcome. All right. So, let me.
It was 31st of July. There was a notice.
Let me start. Is the music too loud? You guys will let me know. I'm enjoying the little bit of background music myself.
I can't see it. And she hasn't made it big enough for me to be able to see it. Hold on. Let me see. Nah, I can't. Sorry, guys. It's I can't see it. It's the quality is bad. Oh shit. My bad. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the quality is too bad. Hold on. What if I make it? Nah. Hold on. I'll let her read it, but yeah, I can't see it. It's so like what do you say? It's very unfocused. And it's small, so I don't know. Yeah, that's what it is, right? She's going to take my advice and tell me to go fuck myself. So that's what Aquatic came in to do on her behalf, I guess. Claire took my advice, but told Aquatic to come in here and tell me to fuck off. Yeah, I guess. All right. So, before we go, right? Claire said that Sarah Boone remains in the appeals process, when yesterday she said that she had no appeal. And she didn't even clarify what she meant by that. So I'm just going with the basic thing. That she meant that Sarah Boone had no appeal. And that was done, and they can finally archive it. And then now she's saying that she is still in the appeals process, and her actual formal appeal went through, and then refers uncertainty to an April 2026 filing involving attorney David Maldonado, and says the state responded around July 2. Again, you could have just opened it here, and you could have, shown your audience what actually is going on. You could have done that, but of course you're lazy, so you're not going to do that. And you're interested in gossiping. That's what you're interested in. So this is what you're going to focus on. Well, let's see. And she doesn't even say, oh, sorry, yesterday I got it wrong. Or day before yesterday, I got it wrong, that I said that Sarah Boone does not have an appeal. She does not say that, and she does not correct herself. So here we are.
But if it's too loud, please let me know. The handwriting's a little tight. She does have amazing handwriting, I will say. This is a letter from Sarah Boone.
Oh, sorry. And also, before you go, her update is correct, but she doesn't correct her previous misinformation that she gave out. She just expects the audience to just, ignore it, I guess. And then she's saying that the docket records, the state's answer brief on July 2026. That's what she's saying, right? But to say that her formal appeal went through is procedurally sloppy. What do you mean by went through? When someone files for appeal, it happens. If it's done within the time slot, that the time days limit that's given for appeals, it should be considered. What do you mean by it went through? Does Claire mean that the notice of appeal was accepted, that the council filed the initial brief? She says that, but that's not what I don't think so. That's what she said. But what do you mean? Has the briefing commenced, or that the appeal succeeded? An appeal does not merely go through just because, a brief was filed. The appellate court still has to consider the issues and dispose of the case. The official docket shows the briefing activity. It does not show that Boone either won, that a new trial was ordered, or that the appeal was resolved. There's also terminology correction that I would go ahead with. In Florida, DCA means District Court of Appeal. It's a singular Claire, not District Court of Appeals. And Claire uses a lot of these phrases, such as I believe and I think, which is preferable to pretending certainty. But the court docket is available. And when the underlying procedural record can be checked, the correct practice is to check it before narrating the history. Stating an uncertain date confidently and attaching I believe to the end does not convert uncertainty to verification. The official Florida Appellate Code document is the strongest source, and that's what she should have shown on the screen. She put it in the live chat, but she didn't put it on the screen. So her errors that she has are procedural ambiguity. The appeal went through, does not identify which procedural event occurred, terminological error, District Court of Appeal, not appeals clear, false impression of resolution. The wording could lead viewers to think that the appellate court approved the merits of Boone's appeal. Avoidable uncertainty, Claire speculates about the dates despite referring to available docket material. A brief being filed means that an appeal is being litigated. It does not mean the appeal has gone through, quote unquote, like some debit card payment, like Claire is trying to say. So that's what tells me that this is not her hobby, this is not her passion. If it was her hobby and her passion, she would get these basic things right. But she doesn't. She doesn't make that effort. She's lazy. She's a gossip channel. That's all she is. She pretends to be someone who's passionate about, true crime or court procedures, etc., etc., etc. And it shows. Moving on
to the DCA, which is the abbreviation for District Court of Appeals.
Again, it's District Court of Appeal, not appeals.
That's the 6th district in the state of Florida, and she does list her case number and etc. It's Dear Sir, Madam of the 6th D.
So now we have at least one more person turn up. So it's like at least 6 person in a live chat now, if I'm not wrong. There's another person here, but yeah, for someone, like when I was watching it, she had 700 people in a live chat apparently, but these are the only ones who are, talking, I guess.
DCA. In my good faith efforts to abide in accordance with the order given by the DCA to not contact the courts directly, and advising me to utilize my court-appointed attorney instead in my own advocacy, I must ignore those instructions, as I do not...
Again, too slow. God, too slow, too slow. Holy shucks.
...not know where else I am to turn to in this matter. It closed with this letter. I have included a copy of the first written communication I received from my court-appointed attorney, David Maldonado, where he clearly states he has no intention of simply ever even reading the state's answer to my brief, much less respond to it, my rightful opportunities to do so. This exclusive decision to relinquish his legal responsibility limits my rights to move forward properly in my defense. Moreover, Mr. Maldonado's defeating decision was made well before the state's answer was ever written.
I'm gonna speed it up a little more. This is too slow. This is so
This is deeply concerning, as a reply brief can only be meaningfully evaluated after proper review of the state's arguments. Yet, my counsel predetermined no response would be filed regardless. And
yeah,
pull up the next one.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna see where she finishes, because yeah. What happened here?
Last sentence. No response would be filed regardless of what their response would be.
Now it's gone from the screen. So she tried only for a minute and then now it's gone. Okay. Alright. Here we go. All like,
effort and careful consideration devoted to the successful party's position. Everything to work with, rely on, and be included.
So I don't know if anyone in her audience told her. I don't see it. Like, my live chat lets me know if I am muted or if they can't hear what I put on the desktop. And over here, there's nothing on the screen. So she just read the first page, and after that it just disappeared. Claire, where is it? Oh my God, she tried, guys. She tried. This poor thing tried.
Autos. In the justice situation.
Okay.
In all respect due, I ask for understanding in my direct content and graciously seek guidance from the 6th DCA in this manner. Sincerely, Sarah Boone.
Yeah, remember not to be muted. Thanks, Athens. So yeah, reading the primary document is useful. This is one of the stronger choices that she has made. She tried putting it on the screen, but then it disappeared after one page. I don't know what happened. The thing is that there's a distinction that matters, because the written communication attached to the dispute does not appear to say that Maldonado would refuse even to read the state's brief. It says that he did not intend to file a reply. That's what he's saying. So I hope Claire knows how to correct Sarah Boone's characterization of anything that pops up, right? So I hope that she's able to distinguish the allegation from fact here. Sarah Boone's making allegations. She's able to point out what's the loaded statement in here, what is procedural misinformation, something, hopefully. Let's see. Let's see if that happens. Alrighty, let's go.
Well, let me just say, it was typical Sarah Boone. We've read many letters. Yes, some of you will remember. Some of you may not, if you're new. But Sarah likes to actually write letters to the court, to the judge, asking them to intervene on her behalf when she's not getting along with her lawyers or not agreeing with something they've done. It seems to be, from the tone of the letter, that there has been a fallout of communication again with an attorney. But I do love the opening line. I mean, how ironic. Hello, I'm fully aware I'm not supposed to contact you, but here I am contacting you because, well, my lawyer won't answer me. And we heard that repeatedly.
Okay, what do you have?
During the open case before it was, finished at trial. It's curious to me how this is going to go. But
that's
just
it.
A little information on the appeal itself.
This is not information on the appeal. This is just a letter that Sarah has written. This is not the information on the actual appeal. What are you even talking about? Oh my God. Now, okay. What? Sorry, what? So yeah, so she calls this letter typical Sarah Boone response or letter, and then invokes Boone's history of writing to the courts and then mock paraphrases the situation as she knows she should not contact the court, but blah, 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 blah. So she's not analyzing the complaint here. She said, oh, there's a little information on the appeal itself. That's not what it is. And she's not even analyzing the information that Sarah is putting in her complaint. And she is actually priming her audience against the complainant. She's going for ad hominem framing, typical Sarah Boone, response or letter or whatever. Oh, really? Did it peak? Sorry, my bad. So, and before the viewers can assess whether Maldonado's decision was reasonable, Claire tells them to interpret the dispute as merely another manifestation of Boone's personality. Boone's past conflict with her lawyers can provide context. They do not logically determine whether this particular concern has merit or not. And therefore, this has become a genetic fallacy. Treating the argument as defective because of the person who produced it, rather than testing the evidence supporting it and testing the argument itself. Then Claire goes on to go with this mock quotation. Oh, my lawyer won't answer me. But Maldonado did answer Boone in writing. He declined another call and communicated that he would not file additional briefing or request oral argument. Claire therefore has transformed counsel communicated a litigation decision I oppose into my lawyer is ignoring me, which is not what happened. Claire, can you read? Can you read? Even a little bit. And then this woman says that this is her passion and her hobby. She's passionate about these things. I'm not even passionate about these things. I'm passionate about correcting misinformation, but I'm not passionate about true crime and, court cases and all that. And I do much more than this bitch over here. Yeah, I called her a bitch. Live with it. Because she's not already open to communication, so what's the point, right? Being nice to her. She's not being nice. She wasn't being nice to me. She was making ad hominem attacks at me, so I guess, and wasn't interested in our conversation. So here we are. So this is clearly Claire's bias here, and Claire's bias is causing to rewrite what Boone has put on paper and make it sound more irrational, while she's Claire is obscuring the actual dispute that is there. If Claire was actually unbiased and fair, the actual description would have been Boone characterizes counsel's refusal to take additional steps as abandonment, while counsel says those steps are unnecessary. That's so much more accurate than my lawyer won't answer me. That's not a description of what's actually happening in the reality. So again, when Claire says that she's unbiased, she's not. It's clearly demonstrated here. Do I pronounce the cunt funny? Oh, okay. Did I say cunt? I said bitch. Should I say cunt? Okay, I can use the word see you next Tuesday. I can do that. No worries. So, and the written exchange between Sarah Boone and her lawyer, it's discussed in the court TV report, if I'm not wrong. Hold on. My bad. Hold on, let me see if I can find my notes. Here we go. Here we go. She could have done a little more. She could have put in an effort, and she would have found it. And what does it say here? I must ignore. Oh, far out. Why are you moving? Stop. Okay. So this is on Court TV's website, and it says, I must ignore these instructions. Sarah Boone really wants the court to know how much she does not like her latest attorney. So her attorney, possibility, Boone went through 9. Despite a blah, 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 blah. Here it is. Attached to the letter is a printed message from Maldonado, to Boone, in which he explained, I simply do not have the time or resources on this case to schedule yet another call to discuss the brief, as the brief is self-explanatory, and I made the best arguments I could on this case in light of the circumstances. That type letter, dated May 21, 2026, references an appeal brief that has not appeared on the public docket. Like, come on. Okay, you heard, bitch, but you thought, yeah, I meant that too. I meant both. So, Claire, stop trying to pretend that you do research when you don't. All right? Stop pretending that you're passionate about this thing. I think you're lying to yourself now. You're lying to yourself if you really tell that to yourself. Let's say that. Fucking hell. Chesh from the live chat said, if she has a community that's supposed to participate, 700 viewers and single-digit participants, it seems like her viewers just want to hear someone talking with zero care for what's being said. Yeah, you know, when they're doing laundry around the house and they just don't want to interact. But her title says that this is a casual true crime chat with the community. So I don't know what's her community. They're just 6 people, I guess, in her live chat or the community, when there's supposed to be 700 people watching her. If you don't believe me, hold on a sec. I think so. I took a screenshot somewhere, didn't I, Chesh? Hold on, let's have a look. Here we go. Yeah, that's the one. Can I transfer it here? Yep. So if you look at the number there, top message is 712. So I don't know if that's the total number of messages, or that's the total number of live chatters. I don't know. With someone with 120k channel, yeah, like 120k. But yeah, I agree with Chesh's analysis of the numbers and the live chatters. So Claire is committing ad hominem framing here. Boone's personality and history are used to predispose the audience against the current argument. Genetic fallacy. The claim is discounted because it comes from Boone herself. Loaded paraphrasing. She did all that I was hoping she wouldn't do. So she replaces a strategic disagreement with an allegation of non-communication. That's not what happened, Claire. It was a non-communication, and even if Claire comes back and later says, "Oh, I was being sarcastic," that's still misrepresenting what was in the letter. Just simply saying. That's the total live viewers, yeah. It's a good number for a 120k channel, but there are only 6 people commenting, so yeah. Okay, Res Instance. Oh, okay. Res Instance from the live chat said, that is pretty indicative of true crime audiences in general, though. It has been observed that it is a sort of content that people tend to put on and switch their brains off. Okay. Sure. As I said, I don't participate in such communities, so Claire also has poisoned the well. Again, she goes with quote-unquote typical Sarah, phrasing and label, and tells the audience how to interpret the letter before its merits are analyzed, and she doesn't analyze the merits of the letter. And then narrative substitution, a familiar character story replaces the documentary record. So Claire is not answering Sarah's argument or analyzing it. She's just telling her audience how she wants them to feel about this letter before anyone can assess it in her audience. Hollow. That's what this is. This whole coverage. Hollow. With no substance.
She is picking on procedure by the judge and saying that the court in the process made many, many errors. And one we talked about during the trial pretty much extensively, and that was Dr. Werner's testimony. They feel that it was not to be brought into as facts of the matter. Experts can speak on things. They're saying it was too broad as opinion and it was biased against her, and etc. And we knew, because there was a lot of back and forth, there was a lot of sidebars, there was a lot of reporting by other legal channels here on YouTube that it would probably be the key appeal issue. And I think that most of us agreed when she did get sentenced that there would definitely be appeal.
So Claire is saying here that Boone's appeal is picking on procedure. And then she goes on to describe the challenge to Dr. Werner's testimony and answers the concern with the statement that, quote-unquote, experts can speak on things, unquote. That's such unserious legal phrasing, in my opinion. And that, again, tells me this is not her passion, this is not her hobby, this is just posturing and pretentious on her part. Appellate litigation frequently concerns procedure, whether evidence was admitted under the correct standard, whether then an objection was preserved, whether a defendant's rights were protected, whether the jury was properly instructed, and whether an error affected the verdict. Procedure is not decorative paperwork surrounding the quote-unquote real case. Procedure is the mechanism through which legal rights are implemented. Calling an appellate challenge picking on procedure is loaded minimization. It reframes an allegation of reversible error as petty fault finding. Then Claire goes on to say experts can speak on things. Yes, experts can speak on things. That is not a disputed question. The question is what subject, within which field of expertise, based on what facts or data, using which method, applied how, and did the testimony assist the jury without exceeding its permissible scope. Florida's expert evidence rule requires sufficient facts or data, reliable principles and methods, and reliable application to the case. So saying that experts can speak on things is not a rebuttal. It's a It's a broad statement that avoids actual issue. I don't know what the fucking issue that she was talking about here. What was the issue? So the errors and fallacies. Number 1, loaded minimization. Picking on procedure trivializes alleged legal error. Vacuous truism. Experts can speak on things is true but irrelevant to admissibility. Straw man by oversimplification. The challenge to scope, foundation, or reliability is reduced to whether experts may testify at all. Failure to apply legal standard. Reliability, fit qualification, and permissible scope are omitted. Nothing is here. Appeal to casual intuition. A complex evidentiary question is treated as self-evident. Nobody is disputing that experts are capable of speaking. The issue is whether the expert was legally permitted to say this. God. All right, moving on. 1748, like, there we go.
And etc. And we knew because there was a lot of back and forth, there was a lot of sidebars,
So Res Instance from the live chat said, it's also why someone like Claire would choose that content genre, because she can put in low effort and get out big returns relative to the effort spent, which in her case is next to none. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, sure. All right.
So there was a lot of reporting by other legal channels here on YouTube that it would probably be the key appeal issue. And I think that most of us agreed when she did.
So Claire cites the amount of courtroom back and forth and number of sidebars and all that stuff. And yeah, back and forth sidebars can show that the issue was contested, but it does not prove whether the judge ruled incorrectly or correctly. It does not prove the issue was preserved in the required form or not. It does not establish the applicable standard of review. So then Claire says that other legal channels predicted that this would be the key appellate issue. Right? Which channels is she talking about? I don't know. So yeah. We'll just move on to the next point. It's just a minimum point.
Get sentenced that there would definitely be appeal. I mean, just her not letting go and always thinking she knew better than her attorneys, better than anybody. I mean, the one thing Sarah Boone does do very well is advocate for herself. She may do it in the worst possible manner, by violating procedure and this, that, and the other thing, and she doesn't really get a lot of productive results because of it. But I have to say, she does stick up for herself. She's a great advocate for herself, as she should be. And I think she feels, in dealing with the justice system, that she needs to be. She has had plenty of different attorneys. Some of them left because of different issues. Some of them left directly because of their interactions with her. But, it's going to be curious to see, since the state has filed their actual response to her appellate brief on just recently in the beginning of July. It could be a while before we hear. The link that I...
Yeah, Smitty, she does it very, very well in the worst possible manner. Yeah.
Gave you is for the DCA there for that case. And you can see that there's really nothing in regards to oral argument scheduled. There's really nothing in response. And I don't believe her letter is even posted yet.
Just because there's not something posted doesn't mean there wasn't something. We just read that some of the things are not being posted on the docket. We just read in the news report from Court TV. So
the last thing on the agenda, it looks to be a notice, but it's not available for public, at least not currently. That may change in a few days. Not currently, the last time I looked, which was earlier this morning, it wasn't. But what do you guys think? Was that typical?
Guys, I'm rambling. Give me something to, carry on from.
Sarah Boone?
Typical Sarah Boone again. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, fuck. Like, can you talk about the merits of the case instead of sitting there and gossiping about a woman who killed someone and giving her attention like this? What the fuck?
I think most...
Like, not talking about the victim at all or his family, nothing. Nah, let's talk about the killer, guys.
Of you in the
typical Sarah Boone. Holy
were
shit.
Part of the trial. in even part of my coverage prior with all the letters and
Blah, blah,
everything,
blah,
she
blah, blah.
definitely is typical Sarah. Typical Sarah. You know, I have to say, like, now that I'm, this is much less formal, as we've all agreed. I have to say, right now, after the trial and everything, I'm kind of feeling for her if she's still having problems, feels she isn't being heard in some way by her attorneys. I will say, I did read the brief done by Maldonado on her behalf on the issues.
Did you?
And it is well written and structured.
Okay, so you did read it, but you didn't bring it up before. So, but you said that Sarah was saying there's no communication. And now you're saying that, yeah, Maldonado did reply to her. So why did you characterize this whole thing as if, Sarah is saying that, there's no communication between me and my attorney? When one, that's not what she was saying. So you just spit out things just cause. Like, what the fuck?
Personally, I'm not a lawyer, but I didn't agree with some of the things. I was there and watched it, and I understood. You did? The precedent that the judge was referring to in the cases and all. But he's doing a good job. I mean, he has to find something to actually appeal. And there are some things that could be questions. Not to say that the judge did anything wrong or the court did anything wrong or the prosecution, but just that there is something there that could be addressed or at least, weighed in on it, that you could look at it one way or another, from a defense side or a prosecution side. And that's what good appellate lawyers do, right? And
so I'm looking at a chat, right? And I'm going to refresh it. Hold on. If I go back. Yeah, the interval at which a chat responds is like, oh my god. Look at this. 21, 20:54, 18, 11, 10:59, 10:34. Oh, okay. Yeah, she's not got a really interactive audience, so I don't know. So, Claire suggests an appeal was inevitable because Boone does not let matters go and believes she knows better than her lawyers. Claire also calls Boone a quote-unquote great advocate while acknowledging that Boone violates procedure and often obtains unproductive results. Hi Victoria, how you going? Oh, you're listening to us in a train. Oh, okay. So yeah, whether a convicted defendant files a direct appeal is not evidence that they are stubborn or narcissistic or incapable of letting go. A direct appeal is an ordinary legal mechanism for asking a reviewing court to examine alleged trial error. Trying to explain the appeal through Boone's personality is an ad hominem motive narrative. It substitutes psychological storytelling for analysis of the appellate issues. Claire can believe that Boone is difficult. That's fine, but quote-unquote she appealed because she never lets go tells us nothing about whether the trial court admitted improper evidence or gave an incorrect instruction or committed another preserved error. Then Claire goes on to call Boone a great advocate while she says her methods violate procedure and repeatedly produce poor results. That is equivocation over the word advocate. So Claire is moving between advocate meaning persistent and outspoken, and advocate meaning effective at advancing one's legal interest. So Boone may be extraordinarily persistent. Persistence alone does not make someone an effective legal advocate. I don't know what that means. What Claire was meaning by that. That Boone is a very good self-advocate. I don't get it. If someone's conduct repeatedly damages attorney-client relationships or produces procedurally unusable filings, calling it great advocacy confuses intensity with competence. If Sarah is getting, false results or unusable results, then she's not a great advocate for herself. To Claire's credit, she later says that Maldonado's initial brief was well written and structured. That is more useful than speculating about Boone's inability to let go. Any brief, it should be evaluated by its issues, record citations, preservation arguments, standard of review, and requested relief, not by a personality narrative. And again, you're sitting here and talking about a killer. Someone who killed someone. Someone who caused someone to lose their life. What is this fascination with the person, with the killer and their personality, instead of the substance of their appeals or what they're putting in and filing? I do not understand. So the fallacies that Claire is committing in this clip is ad hominem motive attribution. She does that a lot in these type of live streams. We have seen that. The decision to appeal is explained through Boone's alleged personality defects. Psychological speculation. Claire claims to know why Boone pursued legal review. Equivocation. Quote-unquote advocate alternates between persistent and legally effective. Irrelevant conclusion. Boone's difficult history with counsel does not determine whether an appellate claim has merit or not. Character narrative is replacing legal analysis. The person becomes the argument for some reason. An appeal is not a proof that, Sarah Boone cannot let go. It is a proof that an appeal was filed. That's it. Yeah, it's all ad hoc too. Yeah. I think so we'll be able to finish this quite quickly today because Claire is just, oh God, so stupid. All right, moving on.
I guess we'll see how that goes. So what else is up? Oh, hey, Couch.
Okay, so I think so till 22:31, she's just talking to the chat. Okay, so we'll start from 22:31. All right, let's go here. All right.
So,
you know what? Actually, we have been live for 1 hour, 42 minutes. How about we take a break? Let's take a break, a quick break, and I'll be back. I'll just get another proper cup of coffee, get some water, and I'll be back. And we'll continue this. I think so we'll be able to finish soon. Okay, all right, break time. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I really appreciate it. checking 1, 2, 3. We're back with this bullshit. Damn it. Victoria for €2, I guess, from the live chat said, Chesh, did you buy tea yet? And then they followed it by, I will be annoying. I will not cease nor desist. Thanks, Victoria. Chesh, I don't know. Oh dear. All right. Continuing. Here we go. 22:31. All right.
So, you're here. What do you guys want to talk about? I'll give you a minute to put it in the chat. I do understand there's a bit of a delay sometimes, but otherwise, I could talk a little bit about the case that I believe Mage the Wolf brought up.
Mage the
officer
Wolf.
Who there was.
Okay, so that's the wolf that Clay was talking about yesterday. Mage the Wolf.
From a fish and wildlife officer on an Indian reservation, on one of the reservation land. It just happened in July, and it's under investigation. And I did look at that, but he's not here. But I mean, it'll be documented if he wants to check it out later. Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is anyone still following the Clancy case? I know we talked about that a little bit on Tuesday, and things have heated up a bit. It does get distressing for me to watch people, attack her condition and things. I don't think that should be fodder, but it is part of the case. So, they feel it's open for discussion. It is actually part of the testimony that's going on. We've got healthcare providers and those that are prescribing medications and those that are actually experts in it testifying this week. The last thing that I saw was actually her defense attorney, Reddington, which, on a personal note, like I said, this is the casual chat. This isn't anything, we're not deep diving into the legal issues, bringing out the documentation, or going back and forth.
There we go with the disclaimer laundering.
The clauses in any great detail, like I would for you, unless you have a direct question. I will try to answer it.
I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna gossip. I'm not gonna do any due diligence, nor I'm going to give you any proper answers. We're just here to gossip, guys. That's all we are here to do. That's our shit.
But I will say that the defense attorney, in my humble opinion,
it's her opinion, guys, which is trash. We know that because she does no research and she is full of bias. And she's saying here this is a bias. So yeah, Claire is saying that she finds it distressing to see people attack Lindsay Clancy's condition, and notes that healthcare providers and experts are testifying. Number one, where did you see that? Can you bring up any examples on the screen? Nothing? Okay. And her wording is assuming that the central disputed proposition, that there's a central disputed proposition before the evidence has resolved it. Right? Lindsay Clancy's mental health history is not imaginary. There's substantial evidence that she sought treatment and experienced depression, anxiety, insomnia, medication changes, and serious psychological symptoms. Okay. But the legally decisive question is more specific, and I kept saying that yesterday too. The more specific question is, did she suffer from a mental disease or defect of such a nature that she lacked criminal responsibility at the time of the killings? The defense attributes the deaths to severe mental illness, including postpartum psychosis. Hey, thanks, Orange. Thanks for coming by. See ya. So the defense is attributing the deaths to severe mental illness, including postpartum psychosis. The prosecution argues that she acted intentionally. Some treating clinicians reportedly testified that they did not observe psychosis during their evaluations. So those competing interpretations are exactly what the trial is testing. So saying that people are attacking their condition begs the question. it's assuming that the defense's description of the condition and its legal effect has already been established. And this can also become a straw man. A person cannot accept that Clancy was seriously unwell while disputing whether the evidence proves postpartum psychosis or lack of criminal responsibility or a causal connection between medication and the killings. And she doesn't show where people are attacking. What do you mean by attacking? What do you mean by that, Claire? Can you describe something? Nothing, just vague assertions. If someone is challenging the diagnosis or its timing, its severity, or its legal consequence, that does not mean they're automatically attacking people with mental illness. And that's the thing. This is taking agency away from people who suffer from mental illnesses. And that's another misinformation. And that's why I do not like Claire when she talks about these things, because she does not understand these nuances. She does not do her research on such nuances, and she just speaks whatever she wants to talk about, like a fucking gossip channel. If Claire wanted to be unbiased and fair, she could have said Clancy's mental health problems are documented. The parties dispute their diagnosis, severity and effect on criminal responsibility. Just talking about randos on the internet, what's the point? So again, fallacies and tactics. So there's before we go to that, there's also current reporting on competing theories, and it's summarized by Associated Press. And I clicked on the wrong link. Hold on. There we go. Let me just share this with everyone. Like, I'm also doing a casual stream, but I still have standards clear. I'm not sitting here gossiping like you are. So yeah, that's how it's done. Fucking. She's trying to come at my level. She hasn't even dug herself out of the ground yet. So the fallacies and tactics. Begging the question, as we said, the defense's description of Clancy's condition is assumed to be established. Straw man, evidentiary disagreement is recasted as an attack on mental illness, or is being assumed as if is causing everyone is the reason why everyone in the public is attacking the person's mental illness. The moral framing. Sorry, I can't speak. Moral framing. Critics are positioned as cruel rather than analytically mistaken. People can be mistaken. This conflation going on. Documented mental illness, a particular diagnosis, and legal lack of responsibility are treated as the same proposition, which they are not. She continuously fails at this point. Continuously. She did that day before yesterday also. And then premature adjudication. Claire speaks as though the trial's central factual dispute has already been resolved. Disputing the legal effect of a diagnosis is not the same thing as attacking mental illness. That distinction is the trial. This woman does not know what she's talking about. It really, really upsets me that mental health is used by people like Claire to make content and spread misinformation. She's got 120k subscribers and she's talking bullshit.
It's quite admirable the way he is putting forth a defense for Lindsay Clancy. He's a well-vetted, well-experienced attorney. He's been around, I think, 30 years, someone mentioned. And I did see a post on the socials from Kathy Rousson, who's with Law and Crime, and she had said about the controversy of a hot mic, where while the autopsies were being discussed, Lindsay Clancy may have been sobbing, and there was a comment made on a hot mic, which allegedly is coming from the prosecutor's table. I'm not so sure about that, but the controversy is whether they said shut her up or shut it down, and that's going back and forth. But what I can tell you clearly is that after the jury left the room, the judge actually spoke to the court, not just the galley, not just the prosecutors or the defense or the attorneys or anyone, the whole courtroom, and kind of said that if there were any outbursts, that everybody has to be aware that there are mics everywhere. And I'm just like putting this in, like, paraphrasing, no direct quote. Kathy Rousson has the direct quote out there that you can read. I believe it's on X, But she was saying that he pretty much told the whole courtroom, you won't get a second chance. If I hear any comments of any nature like that, you're out. You're out. You're just out. There's no warnings. There's no more of these. Like, it was distressing, especially since the public heard it. With either way that it was said, it was probably inappropriate, especially if it came from the prosecutor's table. And I'm not sure about that part, so that's why I said allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's heartbreaking.
So first, I would like to say, hi, Megan, how are you? And they said, quote, I did not read the instructions for the assignment, so I'm going to just bullshit my way through it, unquote. Yeah, that's what Claire's thing is. So, Claire praises the defense attorney, Kevin Reddington, partly relying on, quote unquote, 30 years of someone mentioned. And then she discusses whether a hot microphone captured shut her up, or an instruction to shut off or remove something. And then she claims the source is uncertain, and then concludes that either version was probably inappropriate. So she's done one thing correctly here. She says the source and wording were uncertain and uses allegedly, which is an appropriate caution. I'll give it to her. Then she undermines that caution by declaring that either version was probably inappropriate. The difference, Claire, between the two versions is the entire controversy. Shut her up directed at a sobbing defendant would be a disturbing personal remark. An instruction to turn off or remove some graphic autopsy images from a courtroom display would be an ordinary response to distress in the room. Those are not morally or legally equivalent. Reporting after the incident described a dispute between Reddington's allegation and prosecution's explanation. A district attorney's spokesperson also said a video review indicated that the speaker was not one of the prosecutors and was referring to the courtroom monitor. That statement is not itself a judicial finding, but it demonstrates why Claire could not responsibly collapse both, meanings and declare both improper. The judge's warning to the courtroom was real, but a broad warning does not identify the speaker, establish exact words, or prove prosecutorial misconduct. And 30 years someone mentioned is not a reliable credential check. If Claire wants to rely on Reddington's experience, his professional history is verifiable. Someone mentioned is hearsay being used as some sort of evidence for someone's resume. That's what Smitty said. Hearsay is a kind of evidence, Your Honor, quote unquote. Like, come on. So again, false equivalence. A personal command to silence Clancy is treated as equivalent to an instruction concerning a display. Premature moral conclusion. Claire judges both versions before the wording and speaker are established. Appeal to vague authority. 30 years someone mentioned is used to support an assessment of counsel. Inference beyond the evidence. A general warning from the judge is allowed to imply misconduct by an unidentified person. Hedging, followed by certainty. Claire acknowledges uncertainty and then delivers a confident condemnation anyway. If it was shut her up, that is one story. If it was an instruction about the monitor or what was on the monitor or something else to be put away, that is a different story. You cannot erase the disputed fact and then condemn both versions equally. Oh, you found a random outlet under your stairs. Cool. So yeah. This woman, seriously, this woman. So yeah, so the competing accounts matter. Both are not equally condemnable. Why is it so hard to understand, Claire? She just sits there and just like goes yapping away with no like way to process her thoughts. She's not processing her thoughts. She's just blurting bullshit out.
And there are people saying that she shouldn't have been crying and they should have shut that down. And I'm like, she's...
Who said that? Please show us who said that, in what context. Charge a toll to go up and down the stairs. Oh my god. Goblin lives under the stairs. Yeah. Very convenient for the goblin to have an an outlet. Yeah.
To defending, I mean, those were her children. I could see that she got a little bit upset. I don't know why it's such a big issue. How do you control somebody's reaction to something? I mean, we have seen defendants cry. We just recently saw Larry Muñete cry a little bit, just a little bit, over certain things when speaking about certain relationships and the children and stuff. We saw it in the Murdaugh trial. I mean, Murdaugh just blubbered, absolutely. A defendant's emotions are on display to the jury, and of course they are advised usually by their attorneys. Can't say in every case, but in most, that they should remain as unemotional as they can. But in a case like this, with such horrible things that happen in events and with everything that's going on, it is a highly emotional case to begin with. And it's just a little disheartening for me to see others try to make it even more so in some cases, but what I say, to each his own. There's a place for everybody on YouTube. They do their thing, I do my thing. I just don't. I kind of have empathy.
No, you shouldn't have a place on YouTube
for everybody involved. The defendant, her family, her ex-husband, the attorneys, the judge, and the jury. I will say I've seen some things from the prosecution in this case, and you guys know me. I'm usually like, I have a few favorite prosecutors. I might say I might lean a little when I get to talk about my personal opinion on the prosecutor side, but not so much in this case. I don't think they're doing anything with specific malicious intent, but they're coming off kind of cold. And I think that that's being played up in the media a lot too. And it's not, I don't feel it's beneficial to their case, but like I said, I'm not a lawyer.
Hi, EMP.
Casual crimes, you say? Hey, Amber, good to see you. Love the punny. I love your wordplay.
Casual crimes, you say? What the fuck? Oh, we've got more moderators coming in. Casual crimes, you say? Mrs. Cassandra? All of them are moderators. Okay. Is it only moderators live chat? I don't know. Maybe it is. It was. No, it wasn't. That's not what the screenshot showed.
Play. I'm a big fan of wordplay. I really am. If they...
As opposed to ranked competitive crimes, right? What the fuck was that? Wordplay. What sort of wordplay is casual crimes? I don't get it. Like, okay, especially when you were talking about serious topics like Clancy's. Like, what? No concept of timing, no concept of social awareness, nothing. Nah. Nothing. So Claire is using emotional sympathy to answer a courtroom management question here. That's what she's basically doing. Claire says it's heartbreaking that people think Clancy should not have cried. asks how anyone can control such a reaction, compares her crying with other defendants, and says the prosecution appears cold. Again, I'm just going to say this. Claire, where are people saying that Clancy should not have cried? I would love to see it. Can you demonstrate it? Nah, you're just pulling straight out of her ass just so that she can justify whatever the rant is coming up next. And she's trying to blend several questions over here. Was Clancy's reaction genuine? It may well have been. It is understandable that a mother would react to autopsy evidence concerning her children, obviously. Can a court still manage an emotional outburst if it disrupts the proceedings or risks improperly influencing the jury? Also, yes. Claire is constructing this false dilemma between allowing every reaction without restriction and demanding that a human being feel nothing. That's a false dilemma. Courtroom management does not require denying emotion. That's not what it is. It requires balancing dignity, order, fairness, and the jury's exposure to conduct outside the evidence. Again, as Chess said before, Claire has no regard to the philosophy of the US legal system and how the courts operate. No regard. She doesn't care. She just sits there and just judges everyone from her high pedestal up there. That's what she does. After constructing this false dilemma between allowing every reaction without restriction and demanding that a human being feel nothing, she goes on to invoke other defendants who have cried. And again, that's a false analogy. The fact that another defendant cried in another trial does not tell us whether this reaction was disruptive, how long it continued, whether the jury was present, whether a recess was needed, or how the judge should respond. Murdaugh cried is not a legal standard. Those were her children. Yes, that is emotionally true, but it becomes an appeal to emotion when offered as the answer to a procedural concern. And then Claire says that the prosecution seems cold. That's a vibe assessment, not a legal analysis. Again, that's what this is. Claire just sitting on a channel and just doing vibe assessments and vibe checks and gossip. That's it. That's all she's doing. Prosecutors presenting autopsy evidence in a child, murder case may appear emotionally restrained because their professional role requires them to present extremely difficult evidence. Coldness is not proof of malice, misconduct, or a weak case. Claire says that she does not think they're acting with malicious intent, but then she encourages the audience to evaluate the prosecution through emotional temperature. And this is how true crime coverage turns into fandom. One side is admirable and empathetic, and the other side has bad vibes, or they come across as cold. Neither proposition or position is establishing any criminal responsibility. It's just gossip. That's all it is. God. So, fallacies and tactics, false dilemma, like I said, false analogy, appeal to emotion, mind reading. Claire infers emotional coldness and its likely effect without evidence. Aesthetic substitution. The prosecution's demeanor replaces analysis of its evidence and conduct. Courtroom procedure is not decided by asking which side appears warmer on camera or to the audience. The jury matters. Fucking hell. All right, moving on.
there could be a casual crime, right? No, it's a casual chat, but I don't think the crime's being committed or casual.
Please give me an example of a casual crime. I would love to know that. Please.
Casual at all. So let's not put that rumor out there, because like,
what do you mean by casual crime? Number one. And what example are you going to use to say that, oh, this is a casual crime?
I have enough with people twisting what I say. Actually, we don't want people to say that I think crime is casual. Because do I have to put it? I mean, let me just joke about it a little bit. Do I actually have to put out a disclaimer about that too?
Then what did you mean? Her Majesty from the live chat said, the so-called true crime genre will not age well, really harmful in so many ways. Yes, I agree. I agree.
Really? Charles, long time no see. Boo. I am so happy to see you there. Like, wow. My friend. I'm glad you could pop in. Well, it is so good to see you. I hope you're well. As I hope everybody in chat is well. Like, I really do. So, what do you want to talk about next? Okay. Do you want to talk about Officer Nielsen? I think Mage the Wolf brought that up in the last one, and I did check it out a little. It is a little fascinating. I'm going to give it like 10 more minutes. Thank you for the clarification. Yes, isn't it funny? Like, Amber, I'm just besides myself with the humor of it. I actually have to keep reiterating that because people kind of got the wrong idea. Apparently, they didn't read the description and expected me to be like really doing a deep dive and bringing out all the legal documents and, you know, proving every word I said, which it's amusing.
Yeah, you should do that when you're talking about criminal cases. Why would you sit and just gossip about these things that affect people's lives, especially where people have lost their lives, where families have suffered? Why would you just sit and gossip about these things and be so nonchalant and casual about them? She's taking a swipe at me, I know that, because I called her bitch ass out for not doing her research and getting her facts wrong. I'm not saying you can't talk casually about something, but that's not an excuse to get your facts wrong, Claire. Even if you don't want to do a deep dive, get your facts right, and don't be such nonchalant about things, as if as if this is a gossip channel or something, and you're talking about some gossip instead of people who get affected.
Using, actually. But hey, takes all kinds, right? Like, to each his own. Yep. But yeah.
Yeah, I will ask you to prove every word you say, because we know you're full of shit. You don't have any evidence for what you say, and you get your facts wrong.
Yeah. The other thing.
So, after joking about casual crime, quote unquote, Claire says people twist her words, and then she goes on to complain that critics expect her to conduct a deep dive, produce legal documents, prove every word she said. Again, as I had said before also, it's a textbook straw man. That's what this is. The reasonable criticism is not that produce every document and prove every syllable during an informal live stream. The reasonable criticism is clear. Do not make unsupported legal claims and identify uncertainty when you have not checked the record. As I said before, she's inflating an expectation of modest accuracy standard into an absurd demand that she should litigate every sentence. Then she laughs at that absurd version she created. So this is classic straw man. Nobody needs a complete appellate appendix to say, I have not confirmed who made the hot mic comment. Or that Boone alleges her attorney will not act, but the attachment does not say he refuses to read the state's brief. Or that I do not know New York accident law, so I will not invent a rule. Those are not deep dives, they are basic epistemic hygiene. or boundaries that you set up if you want a good channel. This is the clearest example of a Motte and Bailey pattern. The Bailey is the bold, factual, or legal claim, and when challenged, Claire retreats to the safe position. She retreats to the safe position. This is only casual conversation. And then once the scrutiny passes, she leaves the safe position and resumes making authoritative claims. And quote-unquote takes all kinds is not an answer. It's an ad hominem dismissal designed to make scrutiny seem socially abnormal, especially in such serious things like, crimes where people have lost their lives. Morning, Krakatoon. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Happy weekend. So yeah, Claire, nice try. Fallacies and tactics. Straw man. A request for basic support or basic accuracy is inflated into a demand to prove every word with a full legal deep dive. I would expect accuracy, but we know that Claire, she just gets shit wrong and never, clarifies it or never corrects herself. Motte and Bailey, Claire alternates between confident claims and then safer defense that the program is merely casual. Ad hominem dismissal, critics become all kinds of people rather than people raising a substantive objection. Burden shifting, the problem becomes the critic's allegedly excessive expectation rather than Claire's unsupported statement. Or even false statement. False equivalence. Basic verification is equated with exhaustive litigation. Casual means you use fewer details. It does not mean your audience has to lower the definition of true and that you keep getting facts wrong. All right, moving on.
I was thinking about, and I'd like to get your feeling. If I know Mage isn't here, so I don't know if I want to go into Nielsen. I think I might casually go into it since I have all the information. Unless you say so in the chat now, because this is driven by you guys. I think I'll hold it till he's here, unless you want to hear about it, because I can always talk with them about it later. But if there's anything that anybody wants to talk about, I was also thinking about dropping the link here and there. No pressure, but sometimes it's a little fun to have a.
In 30 minutes, she has dropped only one link so far. And if I'm not wrong, I've shown 2 links. And yesterday, I was just dropping link after link after link. So yeah. One link in 30 minutes. 31 minutes to be more precise. Or 32, actually.
Have a true crime conversation back and forth and hear what you guys are thinking. And I'm kind of thinking about doing that here and there.
What are they thinking? Nobody has said yet what are they thinking about anyone. It's just you rambling on what you think about. Nobody has, in the live chat, if I'm not wrong, made any claims. Any claims. Nothing about the cases. It's just you and your claims. So stop pretending that this is being guided by your live chat or your community. It's not. Stop pretending that. God, stop lying to yourself. Holy shit, this woman.
When we can. But I am going to keep these brief, as you know. So,
again, you can keep it brief. Nobody's saying that you don't have that you can't keep it brief. Keep it factual. Your facts are wrong. Your interpretation of your own judicial system is wrong all the way, and I've explained it how. And somehow this is your hobby and your passion, and you think the chat is and you're claiming that your chat is directing this when no one has brought up anything in the live chat. She's the only one who has been bringing up all the cases. That's it. I can see nothing in the live chat. None of the cases that she has brought up have been mentioned in the live chat. Nowhere. We know that because there's no one in the live chat. That's it. That's all we have for 30 minutes. I get it. It might not be interactive, but she's pretending that the live chat is directing whatever she is saying or whatever topic she's bringing up when it's not. Bruh. Like, who are you trying to trick here? Yeah, EMP network. Just another, EMP network from the live chat said, in my opinion, just another pretender who never goes on the camera. Yeah, just saying, yeah.
Okay, since Spooky isn't here either to go over Sharilla, remember she brought up Mackenzie Sharilla, which is also a very interesting case that I had not been following. And I'm kind of glad that they brought it to me because it is very interesting.
So she claims that the live chat or her audience is directing the whole thing, but apparently it's not in the live chat. It's in the background that people are bringing her things to talk about. So why are you claiming this in your title, a casual true crime chat with the community? You already had your chat with the community somewhere. We don't know where. This is just a pretension. That's what this is. So she's claiming that on one hand, she's claiming it's the chat that's, directing everything. But then she's like, oh, people in the background got me stuff to talk about. Can you decide? God. People like her are so stupid. Her Majesty from the live chat said, a channel like that should really include an explanation in the channel and video description that she's not a lawyer to avoid viewer confusion and unauthorized practice of law. The thing is that she said it in the video. That's fine by me. That's fine by me. That's still not an excuse to get shit wrong. Especially when you claim that this is your hobby and your passion. She claims this is a passion. And this is a hobby. That's what my point, that my problem is. Doesn't look like this is a passion or a hobby.
Quite heartbreaking. Sometimes these cases are just very heartbreaking.
That's all she has to say throughout the 30 minutes since we have started.
And you got to kind of separate emotion out, like when you're doing the actual deep dives. But in these casual chats, that's part of the purpose, to allow you to express that. The emotional side of it, how it affects you and what you're thinking about it. You don't need the facts and this and that behind it.
You don't need the facts? You don't need the facts? Excuse me? You don't need the facts? So you can just pull shit out of your ass. Sorry, what? Oh my God, this woman. Holy shit.
Actually is emotionally impacting you. And that case was about...
Why is your live chat a therapy session? Is this what this is? A therapy session? Are you a mental health provider? Or a mental health therapist? That your chat has become, a mental health, a therapy session. To say how something is emotionally impacting you. If something's emotionally impacting you, isolate yourself from that thing or go to a qualified therapist. You fucking idiot. Don't come to Claire create a parasocial relationship to share how it emotionally impacts you. That's so wrong. That is so wrong. Holy shit. She just casually throws out these things. Facts don't matter. We're just here to say how something actually is emotionally impacting us. I'm like, is this a therapy session now? Is this what it is now? What? Where's Tesh? Seriously, Tesh, you need to come and see this.
A younger person whose life is now extremely altered in the lives of two men. They're no longer here, and their families. Everything has been changed going forward. It's a tragic case. It really is. But it does have also quite a few legal twists to it that are, when it calls to the application of law and fairness in the justice system, they are intriguing. They are intriguing.
I don't think so. You care
I'll be
about
looking into
that.
that one a little bit. I might
I don't think so. You care about all that. I don't think so. Oh yeah, Her Majesty from the live chat. She's a lawyer and a therapist. Yeah. No, this is a therapy session, guys. We were all wrong. Mental health and being a mental health therapist, that's her passion and hobby now. That's what it is, guys. Fucking, what the hell? Claire is trying to distinguish her deep dives from like casual discussions here, yeah? And says people do not need, quote, the facts and this is this and that behind it, unquote, to explain how a case emotionally affects them. And this I think where the danger lies. Yeah, you might not need evidence to prove that you personally felt sad, angry, distressed, or sympathetic. Feelings are internal experiences, but emotional reactions to a named case usually contain factual premises. Your premise should be factual. So Claire, and we have proven it yesterday also, your premises are factually wrong, incorrect, full of misinformation. I feel upset doesn't require a footnote or to come in a live chat and say, oh yeah, I am upset because of this reason in this case. To say I feel upset because a prosecutor told someone to shut Clancy up assumes the prosecutor said it. Or to say I feel sympathy because Boone's attorney refuses to read the state's brief assumes that he refuses to read it. Or to say I feel outraged because New York automatically blames a drunk driver who was hit assumes that such a legal rule exists. So she's going in between, or she's equivocating between two propositions. First, emotions themselves do not require proof. I get it. But then she's also equivocating it with the factual narrative producing those emotions does not require proof. The first proposition is correct, the second is not clear. Feelings do not need footnotes. Claims that activate those feelings often do. Especially if it's about crimes and ongoing court cases. Or any case, for the matter of fact. Without the distinction, I'm merely discussing my emotional response becomes a way to smuggle unsupported factual claims past scrutiny. So again, fallacies and the rhetorical defects with Claire's narrative here. Equivocation, subjective emotion, and the objective premise producing it are treated as the same thing. Emotional insulation, factual claims are shielded from scrutiny by presenting them as feelings. Category error, Claire confuses evidence for an external event with evidence that a person experienced an emotion. Implicit license to speculate, viewers are told that facts are optional while constructing emotional narratives about real people. Yeah, I get it, your feelings are yours. The factual story you attach to them still has to be true, Claire. Fucking bullshit, man.
A brief video on it. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound sad. Couch, yeah. So, well, then can I give you a little something that's not sad then? Let me just think. I have an article here from Fitz News in South Carolina. Okay. And usually you can see quite a few of them free. Before you, oh my gosh, I think the link is too big. Oh, hold on, I gotta make a tiny URL for
it. Okay, there's nothing here, so we'll jump off. Okay, here we go. 3505, that's where we'll go. Here we go. So she's providing an article, which is fine, which is good. I guess she's learning from me. She's learning, guys. She's trying, but failing miserably still. This is a second link in, what, 34 minutes?
Amber, stop. Yes, absolutely. Just so everybody knows why I'm laughing. Yes, of course. Well, there's the article. And in that article, you'll find out that Alex Murdaugh has had his civil lawsuit against Becky Hill dismissed. Yes, with prejudice. He's allowed to refile. He can refile it, okay, if he comes up with it. But, you can, I believe in this article, actually, that they also are giving a link to the order, so you guys can read it for yourself, okay? Hi, welcome. Good to see you, love. It has been a rather nice Friday here. I hope everybody's having a good Friday. I hope you are well, Eve, and having a good Friday yourself. Thank you for joining us. So anyway, the basic gist of the order says that whatever Becky Hill did was wrong, absolutely. But she shouldn't have to pay Alex Murdaugh any money, because he would have had to spend that money anyway to defend himself, because he's trying to get all his lawyer's fees and stuff for her. And then it also says that she had no responsibility to him being charged in the first place, which he pretty much alluded. He wants to dump it all on her and she should pay for everything. And the judge was like, those things don't go together. And they went into several cases to where, like, charging was done based on what somebody said, but they don't actually apply in this case. And the judge actually, laid that out in more detail.
So Claire correctly says that the Murdaugh's civil suit was dismissed and could be refiled. She summarizes the order as saying that whatever Becky Hill did was wrong, but Hill should not pay Murdaugh's original defense costs because he would have incurred those costs anyways. Claire then says Murdaugh wants to dump everything on Hill and make her pay for it. The basic procedural result is correct. The federal court dismissed Murdaugh's complaint without prejudice, which means the dismissal did not automatically prevent every possible amended or future claim. Claire's causation summary is also substantially right. I'll give that to her. The court found no causal connection between Hill's alleged misconduct and the money Murdaugh spent, blah, blah, blah. But what Claire does is that she overstates this particular dismissal order decided when she says its basic gist was that whatever Hill did was absolutely wrong. I don't know if she said that. Did she say that? Let me double check and see. Hold on, I might have gotten this wrong. Have I gotten this wrong? Hold on. Okay. Yeah, she did say that. Why does she say these, like, oh my god. Why does she say these stupid things? Oh my god, with such confidence. Listen to this.
A good Friday yourself. Thank you for joining us. So anyway, the basic gist of the order says that whatever Becky Hill did was wrong. Absolutely.
So, the court, she's overstating it. That the basic gist was that whatever Hill did was absolutely wrong. The separate South Carolina Supreme Court proceeding found serious jury interference and ordered a retrial. The federal dismissal was focused on standing and causation. It was not a new merits trial of every allegation against Hill. And it did not determine the value of every possible category of damages. And the federal judge also expressly declined to rule on a possible future claim for costs arising from the retrial. So this is loaded exaggeration and motive attribution. Oh my god. Hi, Intrigue Feline, finally in my live chat, Intrigue Feline, thank you. So the complaint, which was, it sought substantial original defense expenditures and other relief tied to the alleged constitutional violation. The court rejected the causal theory connecting those original trial costs to Hill. Claire does not need to inflate that into he wants her to pay for everything. That's not what it was. The accurate version is already damaging enough that Murdaugh tried to cover his original defense costs from Hill, but the court held those costs were not caused by Hill's later jury interference. Like, why is she creating caricatures? I don't get it. Like, here is it. This is the order here. I'll put it in the live chat. Like, what the fuck? Here we go. Like, oh, sorry. Did I go? Oh no, it's the correct one. Like, what is going on with this chick? So the errors she's making here are, the overstatement of holding. Claire is blending findings from separate, proceedings. Loaded exaggeration. The pleaded damages theory becomes make her pay for everything. Motive attribution. Claire presents Murdaugh as trying to dump all responsibility on Hill. Conflation. The state retrial decision and federal civil dismissal are being treated as though they decided the same questions. Omission of reservation. The federal court did not resolve every possible future claim relating to retrial costs. Like, what are you doing, Claire? Hi, Tom Riddle. How you doing? Thank you for coming in. So the court has rejected a causation theory. Clay turns that into a morality play about Murdaugh sending Becky Hill the bill for his entire existence. Just sitting there and casually throwing out these things. And this is the thing that tells me that she this is not her passion nor her hobby. This is what is forming my opinion about her. This is not her passion nor her hobby. This is just her sitting there and gossiping and being lazy. Lazy as fuck. Take some pride in your work, Claire. Seriously. Do you have any pride in your work? This woman, seriously. Murdaugh. I don't know. Murdaugh? It's a Murdaugh. I don't know. Am I pronouncing their name right? Hold on. Rebecca Hill. It's Richard Alexander Murdaugh Sr. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Claire's coverage of all this. Her casual coffee and crime session about all this. Legalese gossip of sorts. It's not even legalese intrigue. She gets even the legalese, or there's no legalese. It's just her shit she's pulling out of her ass. That's all it is. Moving on. We're getting too close.
She actually, laid that out in more detail in the actual order himself, So I'm just talking casually. I'm just giving you the information that he no longer has a civil suit against Becky Hill. We all know that anything that she said that may have influenced the jury is why he's getting a new trial. And, well, I have to say, in one way, him getting a new trial, that's fair. I don't think what Becky Hill did was professional. We all were upset about it as things were happening and unfolding. We all knew it would be an appeal issue. Weren't we talking about that, during the actual trial, when everything was going down and afterwards when we were doing updates? Some of you that have been here with me from the start, this is a familiar conversation, right? We knew this was coming. There was an inquiry done afterwards that we covered, where they polled the jury and they asked questions and they did all of that, and they still decided, it wasn't bad enough. But then more.
Good question, Intrigued from the live chat. Why would someone want this coverage over someone that is an actual lawyer? Don't know.
More information came out about Becky Hill, and it's okay he's getting a new trial, because for me, I don't like that South Carolina has to waste all this money, but to actually watch Crichton Waters again as a prosecutor, I'd have to say I'm looking forward to it. Not so much the defense team, although I have to say that they're good. They are good. Okay, Dick Harpolian and Jim, Oh my God! I drew a blank with Jim's name. I think it's Davis, but don't quote me on that.
No, it's not. It's not. You could have just stuck to Jim. It's Jim Griffin.
Okay.
I found that with a simple Google search.
I have to look it up, but his defense team was good. They had Phil Barber, who concentrated on a part of it. They kind of divided it up into who did what, and they had a very good defense team. And from what I read, that whole defense team is coming back for the trial. I do believe that Crichton Waters may still be the prosecutor in his team, which will be good to see. As long as they can keep that man wearing gloves that was touching all the evidence, remember that? And the one who actually pointed the gun. Like that trial had some amusing moments. The tragedy that it was, the loss of life, it definitely had some moments where we were all scratching our head. There was some humor. Crichton Waters.
Oh yeah. In the trial that that people lost their lives, there was some humor. Some humor. Again, treating a trial where people lost their lives as entertainment, as a spectacle. Are you not entertained? Fucking hell.
Passionate prosecutor, and he's really easy to watch. And I'm going to look forward to the retrial. I do hope we do get to see it live. I really do. I do hope that that's going to happen. This reminds me of the drunk driver rule. Here in New York, if a drunk driver is struck by another vehicle, the accident is still their fault because the drunk person shouldn't have been there to be hit. Exactly. You know what? I get that.
What?
I get that.
So we'll address that later. I'm just gonna address the points she's making, like the stuff she brought up before that. Claire says everyone knew the Hill issue would become an appellate issue. Looks forward to seeing prosecutor Crichton Waters again. Struggles to remember the defense attorney Jim Griffin's surname and guesses Davis, and describes the first trial as having some amusing moments. So as I said, it's Jim Griffin, not Davis. And then Claire says, "Do not quote me," and admits she needs to check. So this is a minor live error, which is fine. But this illustrates a simple rule. If you do not know the person's name, stop guessing publicly and just check it. Just Google it. Simple as that. Second, we all knew this was coming is hindsight bias mixed with an appeal to collective foresight. The jury issue was foreseeable and heavily discussed, but a trial judge initially denied Murdaugh's request for a new trial. The South Carolina Supreme Court later reversed and ordered one. So that history matters, Claire. Because the eventual result was not self-proving merely because Claire's community predicted it. No. We talked about it as not the same statement as the result was legally inevitable. And then if we listen to the tonal contradiction here, Claire has spent time telling us how heartbreaking these cases are and how much empathy she has for everyone. Now, the retrial of a man accused of murdering his wife and son becomes something she's looking forward to because she enjoys watching a particular prosecutor perform. This is not like a formal logical fallacy. It's spectator's framing, and it creates a very good ground for confirmation bias, where Crichton Waters becomes the protagonist. The defense is less enjoyable, the trial contains quote-unquote amusing moments, and the retrial becomes entertainment programming. Are you not entertained? A constitutional remedy is not a season renewal for Claire's, favorite prosecutor. Whether Waters is easy to watch has nothing to do whether the state proves the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Her Majesty from the live chat. True empathy would have led her to not make a true crime channel. Yeah. So the defense team was identified in 2026, reporting by Fitz News. So here's this link. Yeah, Smitty's right. Smitty said, I mean, she literally calls the court officials during their jobs as a performance. And then the retrial and prior reversal were also reported by Associated Press, and this is where I'm going to bring it. I'm going to put the link in the chat for that. Here we go. Victoria from the live chat, also don't like her overly infantile voice. I sometimes chat like that as a rhetorical device, but I don't vocalize that. I'm not going to go after that. Maybe that's how she speaks. I doubt that's how she speaks. We have listened to her in the past. She switches between accents. So I don't know why she does this one. Maybe, I don't know, it's her more native accent. I don't know. But we have heard her talk differently. So Claire's errors and rhetorical bullshit that she comes up with. Minor factual error, that's fine, okay, no worries. Hindsight bias, the eventual result is treated as though it was always obvious. Appeal to collective foresight. We all knew users community recollection as validation. Spectators framing a retrial involving 2 deaths is discussed the enjoyment of legal personalities. Confirmation bias risk. Preference for a prosecutor can affect how evidence and objections are evaluated. Tonal inconsistency. The declared empathy for everyone involved sits uneasily beside excitement about watching the case again. And we've already seen how she talks about the lawyers who are either defending or representing people she likes or speaks in favor of. She's very biased on how they put things forward. Claire, this is a murder trial, not the return of Claire's favorite courtroom franchise, okay? Have some empathy, real empathy, not just, pretend empathy. Victoria from the live chat, it's just so grating, it's giving me heebie-jeebies and it doesn't fit a legal reporting, analyzing thing she wants to do. Nope. She claims she does that, but I've seen, it's not impressive. Murder as entertainment, how low have we sunk as a society? Yeah.
And that makes sense, right? Like in a common sense kind of way, sometimes the law doesn't have to be very complicated. In a common sense kind of way, that makes perfect sense. Because that goes to the standard in a lot of states, okay? Because every state's different, and sometimes even locally things are different, and federal on that level it could be different. But a lot of times, if you are in the performing of an illegal act, more things become illegal and you become responsible. This reminds me of the drunk driver rule here in New York. If a drunk driver is struck by another vehicle, the accident is still their fault because the drunk person shouldn't have been there to be hit. Exactly. You know what?
What?
I get that.
This doesn't make sense to me.
I get that. And that makes sense, right? Like in a common sense kind of way, sometimes the law doesn't have to be very complicated. In a common sense kind of
You have common sense, Claire?
way that
if you had common sense, you wouldn't be doing these series or these lives about crime news and criminal cases.
Makes perfect sense. Because that goes to the standard in a lot of states, okay? Because every state's different, and sometimes even locally things are different, and federal on that level it could be different. But a lot of times, if you are in the performing.
So Claire, someone in the live chat said that New York has a rule under which if an intoxicated driver is struck by another vehicle, the collision remains the intoxicated driver's fault because the driver should not have been on the road to be hit. I don't know what they meant by that statement. Like, here it is. Better the amber. This reminds me of the drunk driver rule here in New York. If a drunk driver is struck by another vehicle, the accident is still their fault because the drunk person shouldn't have been there to be hit. Are you talking about if a drunk driver is struck or a drunk person is struck, Amber? And without verifying this, Claire just launches into a fucking whatever the thing she's again bringing out of her asshole. It's a common sense thing, guys. There's no New York rule automatically assigning collision liability to an intoxicated driver, merely because that person was unlawfully operating a vehicle. New York law still requires a causation. So Amber is just sitting there and just bullshitting. And how do I know this? In Manila versus La Sala, a driver admitted being intoxicated but was traveling through a green light when another vehicle entered the intersection and struck him. The court explained that intoxication, even where it constitutes negligence per se, does not establish liability for the collision unless that negligence caused the collision. So that's the thing. That driver was following the green light, it's the other guy. So even if Amber is trying to say that it was the other driver who hit him, the other driver wasn't there to be hit. The other driver most probably jumped the red light. So these people cannot read, do not comprehend what they're reading, and then just so confidently say out bullshit and do not care to clarify them. Do not care to clarify at all. At all. The non-drunk driver still caused the accident. Exactly. They caused the accident. But Amber over here said the accident is still their fault because the drunk person shouldn't have been there to be hit. What the fuck is that? They switched from drunk driver to the drunk person. I don't understand what they're trying to say here. I don't get it. And I'm quite sure Claire also didn't get what they were trying to say. But she launches off into this, monologue about common sense and things that are different locally and federally and blah, 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 blah. Like in common sense kind of way. Sometimes the law doesn't have to be very complicated. What are you talking about? You're making no sense. I'm shaking my fucking table. Drunk driver is equal to drunk person. Maybe. But they didn't correct themselves. It's still wrong. It's still wrong. Amber is still wrong. So when you get your premises wrong, whatever comes out of that, here we go. Your foundation is shaky, Claire. Fucking hell. It's a non sequitur. You committed a DWI, therefore you caused another driver to hit you. No, that's not what it is. And then the causal fallacy, you should not have been present, therefore your presence legally caused the accident. What the fuck? I get what you're saying. Hold on, let me just make sure this is, yeah, it's switched to different. I get what you're saying, what they are trying to say. But that's not how it works in New York. In a case in Manila versus La Sala, a driver admitted being intoxicated but was traveling through a green light when another vehicle entered the intersection and struck him. The court explained that intoxication, even where it constitutes negligence per se, does not establish liability for the collision unless the negligence caused the collision. So yeah. The intoxicated driver obtained a summary judgment because the evidence showed that the other vehicle created an emergency he could not avoid. even if he was not intoxicated, he couldn't have avoided that emergency because he was going through a green light. So the New York law still requires a causation. And there's no law in New York that automatically assigns collision liability to an intoxicated driver, mainly because that person was unlawfully operating a vehicle or they were intoxicated. No law, there's no general rule in New York like that automatically assigns collision liability to an intoxicated driver. Nope. So yeah. Yes, exactly. You're right, Intrigue. Meaning, if the intoxication is what resulted the driver to drive through the red and then an accident ensued, then the drunk driver would have been responsible. Yep. Just not merely being a drunk driver does not entail you to be wholly at fault. No. No. I did my research. Here it is. Listen. Intrigued. I might be wrong. I don't know. Here, have a look. Let me know. There we go. So imagine if an intoxicated driver properly stopped at a red light, yeah? A sober driver texting at the wheel crashes into the rear of the stationary vehicle. The first driver may be guilty of driving with influence. The second driver may have caused the collision. Both propositions can be true. Claire's, like the live chat person's rule, erases that distinction because it's not a rule. It's just a moral blame dressed up as proximate causation. That's what it is. Totally false statement. So, misinformation. That's what my problem is with this. Misinformation. And that's what I like to, correct. And that's what Claire has problem with me because of that. She's trying to misrepresent what I say. I'm not trying to say that she has to litigate everything. No, even your simple facts can you correct them? Or at least say that I don't know if it's true or not, but here is this what I want to talk about? Like, come on, man. That's why I talk about these things, because I'm just like, you're just sitting there and just like, not correcting yourself, nor your live chat, nothing, just believing whatever they're putting in the live chat and just going. What she was saying? Common sense, guys. Common sense. Fucking bullshit. Common sense. Alright, moving on.
The performing of an illegal act, more things become illegal and you become responsible. Okay, if you are already committing a crime. And so being a drunk driver, in essence, that's against the law. And so there you go. You're responsible for just about everything that happens. Whether you stopped on the stop sign and this, that, and the other thing. You've got some culpability here, right?
I just corrected that. I said, if you're drunk and you correctly stopped at a stop sign, just because someone rear-ended you doesn't mean you're responsible for that driver's damage. That driver is actually responsible for your damage. In New York. Hi, Petite Flower. Yeah, at it again. Hi. God, this woman is so stupid. Why is she so stupid? Why is she so stupid?
As far as that culpability goes, of course, it's between the actual law, regulation, and the lawyers and everything involved afterwards. Like, I'm not speaking to whether or not everybody would get prosecuted under that or not. But yeah, I get it.
You get what?
I think on that, I think this was pleasant. What happens if both drivers are drunk? We have a very interesting dilemma then. I don't know. I guess then it's going to be who hit who did what, and it's going to be between the lawyers. I think both would be culpable.
So Claire is saying, she's generalizing, when a person is performing an illegal act, more things become illegal and that person becomes responsible for nearly everything that happens. even if the person stopped at the stop sign. And then she retreats and says the extent of culpability depends on the law and the lawyers. That's not a universal legal principle, first of all. Claire, again, has blended several different doctrines into one vague slogan. And in particular circumstances, committing an offense can support additional liability. Felony murder statutes are one example. Negligence per se is another concept, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Her Majesty, she should have stopped at, I don't know. Conspiracy, accomplice liability, and foreseeable consequence doctrines can extend responsibility under specific elements. But none of this establishes Claire's blanket proposition that committing one offense makes a person responsible for just about everything happening nearby. No. Again, even negligence per se still requires causation. And as I was saying, the New York court in the Manila case made that point directly. Intoxication may establish a breach associated with unlawful driving, but it does not establish that the intoxication caused the collision. Claire even says that whether you stopped at the stop sign. So that hypothetical alone, she just destroyed her own position. So if the intoxicated driver obeyed the signal and another driver negligently caused the collision, the intoxication can support a driving with influence charge without making it the cause of the crash. And then Claire moves the goalposts. Her original claim was absolute. The accident is still the intoxicated driver's fault. When complications appear, the claim becomes the driver has some culpability, quote unquote, and the lawyers will determine how far it goes. Those are not the same position. Those are not the same positions. And again, the lawyers don't determine that. The court will determine that, Claire. Get your head into it. Again, the driver may be culpable of the DWI. The disputed claim was whether that automatically makes the collision their fault. It does not. So she picked up an invented rule from her live chat and then retreats into truism that illegal conduct can have legal consequences. Oh, my brain. This fucking woman. And I know, Claire, if you're watching, this will go right over your head. Right over your head. You don't get all this. This is too complicated for your simple brain. I know. Fucking. Yeah, Petite, you're wrong. Yeah, Claire does. Tom, you're right. Claire doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She just, yeah. She has no fucking clue. How were you ever friends with her? Because we knew her very briefly. Aaron brought her over and insisted that that she joins that time of the month, if I'm not wrong. And then she just, yeah. She was in the chat where, of that time of the month chat too. Yeah, Intrigue Feline, you're right. She gets all the legal concepts wrong. Everything wrong. But Intrigue, this is her hobby and this is her passion, apparently, according to her. Such a great hobby and passion, right? Just sitting there and just yapping away vaguely and just like pulling shit out of her ass. Like, dude, just say that you want to gossip. Just go sit and say, I want to gossip. So, errors and fallacies. Sweeping generalization. One offense supposedly creates responsibility for almost everything that follows. Conflation of doctrines. DWI, negligence per se, causation, criminal charging and civil responsibility are merged. Causal overreach. Unlawful conduct is assumed to cause all nearby harm. Moving the goalpost. Automatic fault becomes merely quote-unquote some culpability. Self-defeating example. The stop sign hypothetical demonstrates that the driver's intoxication and collision causation can be separate. Vagueness as retreat. It depends on the lawyers. Replaces the categorical rule after it becomes indefensible. Again, it doesn't depend on the lawyers. It depends on the court and the judge. If it goes to court. So she starts with the quote-unquote the accident is automatically your fault, and then ends with, well, the law will decide. And not even that the law will decide, the lawyers will decide. That's not a clarification. That is just, I don't know what it is. Babbling. No, it's not hard to learn, Petite. You're right. This stuff is not hard to learn. I don't know how people like Erin, Claire, Vera, Suzanne, Nikki, Renelle, Katie Parker, even Steve. They are so lazy. They are so fucking lazy. So lazy. Holy shit. Like, fucking hell. Ugh. We're getting there, guys. Just like, what is it? 41, another 16 minutes and we should be okay. Holy shit. Oh. Well, the concepts are easy to understand, right? Yeah, the basic concepts. Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard. But and intrigued, if she's claiming this is her hobby and her passion. Come on, there gotta be a better standard than this for hobby and passion, right? For law. My feet are cold. I need something to warm my feet. Woo. Cold feet. Cold feet. Like, I googled it and I understood it. Even though it took me like 3 times to read it and understand it, because I just couldn't like get it. But I read it 3 times and understood it. And a simple Google search told me that that's not the case of what the fucking chatter said. Come on.
I don't know. I guess then it's going to be who hit who did what, and it's going to be between the lawyers. I think both would be culpable for charges, at least in everything involved. I get it. You know, I think on that, I think this was pleasant.
Pleasant.
What happens if both drivers are drunk? We have a very interesting dilemma then. I don't know. I guess then it's going to be who hit who did what, and it's going to be between the lawyers. I think both would be culpable for charges, at least on drunk driving. What do you think? I mean, what do you think, Grace? Whether or not everybody would get prosecuted under that or not. But yeah, I get it. You know.
What do you get? You don't get anything.
I think this was pleasant. What happens if both drivers are drunk? We have a very interesting dilemma then. I don't know. I guess then it's going to be who hit who did what, and it's going to be between the lawyers. I think both would be culpable for charges, at least on drunk driving. What do you think? I mean, what do you think, Grace? To me, that makes sense. Charge them both, but then the financial responsibilities of all of the innocent people involved, if there are any innocent people, because we're talking hypothetically here about a case. This is what I wanted to do out here with you guys. Like, thank you, Grace, because this is it. Thank you, Ember, because this is it.
I just want to sit here and speculate instead of doing any research. Wow. So she wants to become the judge, jury, and the executioner. That's what she wants to do while sitting here. Am I right? What are you trying to do?
Talking, just about it in general. But wouldn't it make sense to have law enforcement charge them both? And then wouldn't the other charges be with what happened and who was involved as far as innocent party? How many other cars or innocent people, accidents and things that happened because of it, I would think that we know in the comments. We know in the comments. It does make sense, like common sense.
Give me a sec. I need to refresh this. It's giving me problems. Give me a sec. And we were at 42. Oh! What the hell happened here? Something happened. What happened here?
I get it where you are, Mrs. C, that you can't. I just appreciate that you pop in. I think that's wonderful. I appreciate it too. Well, yeah, Grace, what do you think? I think they both should be charged. What do you think? What do you think, chat? And for those of you listening, what do you think? Also, let me know in the comments. It does make sense, like common sense. Sometimes the rules do make common sense.
Common sense.
Sometimes they follow common sense.
No.
But I do think it would be a very complicated trial if a lot of people were involved. And I think it could lead to quite a few civil suits, Criminally, I think there's no doubt if they're both drunk or over the limit, driving over the limit and illegally, that there would be charges. But depending on other things that happen, insurance companies suing for damages and things like that, who becomes culpable and responsible, that could be a wild ride. That could be multiple different suits, civilly, I do believe. And even criminally, if there was actually, loss of life, loss of property, things like that, there was, it was preventable, but that makes sense. Thank you for dropping the links there, Shill. I appreciate it. I do. So, guys,
So, the scenario, Claire is speculating, what if both drivers were intoxicated? Both should be charged and perhaps tried together. She is repeatedly asking the viewers whether that makes sense, quote unquote, suggests law enforcement should charge both, and speculates about civil suits, insurance claims, deaths, and property loss. If both drivers independently satisfy the elements of DWI offense, both can potentially face the DWI charges. That part is not controversial. But their respective responsibility for the collision remains a causation question. Again, I don't think she understands that at all. One may have caused the crash, both may have contributed, one may have committed DWI while contributing nothing to the collision itself. Like we saw, an intoxicated driver going through the green light. An intoxicated driver who jumped the red light comes in and smashes into that guy who was intoxicated but driving through the green light, who's caused the crash here. So, like Petit said, New York's comparative fault framework connects civil damages to culpable conduct that caused the harm. It does not identify everyone who committed any offense and allocate collision blame according to general moral disapproval. Whether the two defendants would be prosecuted together is a separate procedural issue. Claire has presented no charging instruments, no concrete jurisdictional facts, no joinder analysis, not even a stable hypothetical. She says, I think they would kind of be in a trial together. That's just improvisation from her. And then she's repeatedly asking the chat, doesn't it make sense? Change them both, right? Common sense, right? That is an appeal to common sense combined with leading the audience. Again, you're sitting in an echo chamber. These guys are not lawyers, nor judges. They cannot give you the right answer. If you want the right answer, Google it. Just go say to your audience, yeah, guys, let's see what we can find, and Google it. You wanted to have this kind of discussion with them, right? Google the stuff on your screen and then go and find it and then show your audience what you found. Nah. We just sit there with my fucking stupid ass avatar on the screen and just go like, yeah, right? Common sense, right? Fucking hell, dude. Then Claire is announcing her conclusion, requests affirmation from a friendly chat, receives agreement, and then treats the agreement as reinforcement. That is not legal analysis, Claire. It's a focus group it's a focus group that's just voted on causation, and you're falling for the ad populum fallacy here. And then Claire is also sliding among 4 distinct systems: DWI liability for operating while intoxicated, criminal liability for causing injury, death, or property damage, civil liability for damages, insurance allocation, or subrogation. And these systems overlap, but they are not interchangeable. They have different elements, burdens, defendants, and remedies. Yeah, Smitty from the live chat, common sense is when you make shit up, like Claire. I found this stuff when I Googled it with a simple Google search. This section didn't take me long. It was a simple Google search for me. So much so that if I did it now, I could have found it, in my opinion. But Claire here is lazy as fuck. God. Existence of damaged property also does not automatically create whichever criminal charge Claire is imagining. Conduct, mental state, statute, causation still matter. She keeps saying the law sometimes follow common sense. That is true in the most useless possible way. I gave more information right now about the complexity of the hypothetical that she brought up in the live from the live chat. This is a passion, guys. This is a hobby. Fuck. You deserve all the ridicule I throw your way, Claire. So yeah, so her saying that law sometimes follow common sense, that's like it's true in the most useless possible way, like I said. Because it does not identify which law applies, what the elements are, or whether Claire's intuition is correct. Common sense is not a citation. So this is New York's comparative fault statute. This is what this is. Petite from the live chat, pure comparative negligence is not common sense. No. So yeah, so the errors and fallacies in this segment: appeal to common sense, repeated intuition replaces legal analysis, leading the audience. Claire asks questions in a form designed to produce agreement. Audience confirmation loop. Chat approval is treated as support for the conclusion Claire supplied. Category conflation, DWI, collision causation, criminal charges, civil damages, and insurance are mixed together. Unsupported procedural speculation. Joint trial is suggested without a joinder analysis or concrete facts. Premature charging conclusion. Charge them both is stated before identifying evidence satisfying each offense. Hypothetical drift. New facts are continuously added, making the supposed rule impossible to test. Like, dude, why is he so stupid? stupid.
Do a deep dive this week because I did. I had scheduled.
And the people who come on her behalf, like to attack me, they know that. They know she's stupid. She doesn't make sense, and they're angry with themselves that they are following a woman like this who's this stupid. And they come and take it out on me.
An early library chat with Charlie Dave on Foucault, which was interesting, you know. So I didn't do a deep dive. If you had to choose what deep dive I did first, what would you like? Would you?
This is just her asking them stuff. Okay, whatever. So 5 minutes of that. Okay, cool. We are getting closer. 49:27, guys. 49:27. Here we go. All right. 49:27. Let's go. Woo!
Woohoo! Hey, wow, 38 months. Gosh, Mandy, you've been here. Maybe I'm not such a horrible person after all, eh? I know, sorry, not sorry.
A loyal member doesn't prove that, your critics are wrong. Ad populum fallacy? Anyone? Holy shit, this woman.
I am so happy because, you know what, Mandy, you've been one I've been talking about true crime with since the day we met. And this is my hobby. I know it's a hobby of yours too, and it's fun and interactive, and I'm enjoying it.
This is a hobby, guys.
And I kind of like this little thing we got going on with the casual part. I'm still gonna do my deep dive updates and my other stuff, but I'm enjoying these, so I'm gonna be back next week. Yeah, I know. I think you were one of my first people to join when I got monetized, Mandy, in all honesty. You and Shill.
So I guess she's joking about oh, I'm not a bad person because I have a long-term loyal member. A person can have loyal supporters and still make false statement. And long-term audience loyalty is just emotionally offered as reassurance against criticism. Girl. All right. So this is the one I want to talk about. I think so. We have. Yeah. So one last timestamp, and I think so. We are done today. 1 hour earlier. Not bad. So this is what I want to talk about. 54:22. Wait, why am I green? 54:22. Here we go. Ta-da! All right, this is what I want to talk about.
Communities chat. This is your chat, not mine. Come on. Our communities chat. This is your chat, not mine. Come on. I want to hear from you guys. Okay.
She wants to hear from these guys, but how many people did she have in her live chat participating? Not many. Okay. And 700 people were supposed to be watching her at that time. That really is weird for me. I don't know why.
I want to hear what you guys are thinking about true crime. What cases you've been filing. What interesting tidbits. Tuesday, for the first episode, I was introduced to several cases I really didn't know much about, and they were quite intriguing. And since it's my hobby, I loved that. It was refreshing to look at something.
So basically what she's saying is she throughout this live stream, we have heard her say, she repeatedly calls this live stream the community's chat, says it belongs to the viewers rather than her, and says the series is entirely for them. That sounds very generous, Claire, but it also functions as responsibility laundering at this point. Before it was disclaimer laundering, now it's responsibility laundering. The audience can propose topics, the audience can comment, the audience can influence scheduling, but Claire owns the channel. Claire controls the microphone. She chooses which comment to read. Claire selects the sources. Claire frames the cases. Claire decides which claims are broadcasted. Claire monetizes the program or whatever the segment is. So this is her content clearly. like calling it your chat, not mine, diffuses accountability without transferring any editorial control. If someone in the chat proposes a case and Claire broadcasts a false explanation of the law, the audience did not make her say it. The community participation does not abolish authorship. The honest way to go about this would be, this is my program shaped by your requests. So you're recognizing collaboration without pretending that the ownership and the responsibility have somehow passed to the viewers, and the burden is on them. So the rhetorical defects here are diffusion of responsibility, editorial accountability is spread across the audience, responsibility laundering, community input is used to soften Claire's ownership of the claims, false transfer of authorship, topic suggestions are treated as though they make viewers responsible for the resulting commentary, control accountability mismatch, Claire retains the control while rhetorically disclaiming ownership. The chat can choose they can choose the topic. It does not make possession of Claire's microphone or liability for Claire's claims. So in the end, we have reached the end. I don't have any more else to cover from this stupid thing. I think she is just saying that she talks about what they ask her to. Saying it the way she did is pretty common. But it's a pattern with her. That's what I'm saying. And that tells me that she and she does that a lot to deny responsibility. That's one thing. It's a pattern with her, so that she can hide away from accountability and responsibility, especially when she gets the facts wrong. So in the end, yes, Petite, that's what I mean. If she's going to talk about a case that they ask about, she should be doing the bare minimum research, yes. And I don't think so she's doing it. Even though she has covered these trials, she gets all the shit wrong. The basic court shit wrong. But this is her hobby, guys. This is a passion, apparently. Claire's central problem is not that she's not a lawyer. Non-lawyers are capable of excellent legal commentary, and lawyers are capable of terrible legal commentary. The problem is her method. She begins by claiming the freedom of casual conversation and the authority of someone who pretty much has the facts that she has conferred with lawyers and paralegals. And then she responds to criticism by citing the approval of her own audience, which is like you're sitting in an echo chamber. Ad populum fallacy. Then she dismisses her critics or dissenters as people who did not read or are merely quote-unquote doing their thing. She reduced Appellate issues to Sarah Boone's personality. She takes a contested mental health defense and characterizes disagreement as attacking someone's condition, because she does not show anything on the screen. She treats materially different hot mic interpretations as equally inappropriate. She converts emotional sympathy into an answer to courtroom procedure. She turns a retrial concerning 2 deaths into an opportunity to watch a favorite prosecutor perform. And then she just runs with one of her audience members or her live chat members inventing a New York rule under which an intoxicated driver is automatically responsible for being struck because that driver should not have been there. And that last claim is not merely oversimplified, it's a contradiction by New York case law. Intoxication can constitute an independent offense and may be relevant to negligence, but collision liability still requires causation. So the recurring rhetorical mechanism is simple. When Claire wants authority, she has the facts. When Claire faces accountability, it is only casual. When Claire lacks legal support, it is common sense. When critics object, her audience likes the format. That is being confident without a stable evidentiary standard. Casual presentation is fine. Casual accuracy is not. Simple as that. Smitty from the live chat. Bet you, so he said two things here. I agree with Manya. She shared credit blame for her sourcing and then again with the show in general. And then he continued, bet you she reframes criticism against her choices as an attack on her community's work. Oh, that's coming. I'm sure that's coming. That's coming. Because if I'm persistent with my criticism and all this shit is not working with her followers coming in once in a while and, trying to, attack me and going away, and if I don't stop that, because that's not going to deter me from criticizing her, that's the next thing that she's going to try and do. She will try and mobilize a community against me. Her 120K channel. But I don't care. I correct misinformation, and that's what I'm doing here. If Claire has any issues with my interpretation or anything I've said, she can correct me. If I said anything wrong, correct me. Simple as that. Or she can keep ignoring me and I'll keep, scrutinizing her content. Simple as that. So yeah, Claire. You're trying to learn from me, but you're not at my level. You're not. I don't think so you will be, because you're not honest with yourself. You're not honest with yourself. So I don't think so you will ever. I don't know if you have that, if you have that ability to come to my level. I don't think so. All right, everyone. I thank you very much for coming today and for, listening to me. And if you have anything to say it in the comment section. This is how we do it, Claire. Accuracy, precision, and stating the facts, and doing research. And this is not even my hobby or my passion. Law is not. Correcting misinformation is. And you can see it shows. Whereas this, I will start covering, because we have established a pattern with these ones, right? We know what she's doing in here. She's gossiping. She's just sitting here and gossiping. So I think so from next time what I will do is I'll just, I will go to her case coverage that she's done of various cases. I'll see how she has covered them, where she has maybe watched the court proceedings and stuff and read the documents and stuff, and I'll see how she's done that. So that will be my next level with her content. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Bye.